What up, guys? This is XD.
You listen to the Season 3 of Frequency and Friends podcast.
All right, welcome to Frequency and Friends, Season 3. We're back for another episode. We got some very special guests in the building today. They're very patient. They're punctual. We were late. I've been trying to get this episode done. I always say this, but we really do try to get every episode done. And there's always a bit of a delay to it because we're the most unprofessional professional podcast out there. But we finally got them out here. They're the dynamic duo, XDPro. Welcome to the building.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure is all ours, guys.
Yeah, man.
Of course, we got my co-host in the building. We got DJ M to the right of me. We got Jay Static to the left. And we got DJ KSR joining us as well. We got Jyoti Dillon in the house. He's behind the scenes today. He did some amazing work. We got new equipment. We're moving on up. We're not making any money, but we're moving on up with equipment. And we got a whole setup here. It took a couple hours to get together. That was the delay, but we got it all. It's making me a bit nervous, but we're going to get this done.
It is pretty intimidating, I won't lie.
Yeah.
Feels like a Donald Trump press conference or something.
7 cameras.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. We got shot by Dolo in the house as well, and Dosanjh. So thank you everybody for helping out. Amrit Gill as well came by earlier. JT Major, everybody behind the scenes that makes this happen. It's a big team effort, as you guys saw. So we're excited. Let's get this one started. How you guys feeling,
Good, man? Feeling
Cool,
good,
man.
bro.
Great, yeah.
Thank you for having us, man.
We got them wasted before, so
Yeah, exactly.
So disclosure
The
before
setup,
we get started.
right? Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, this is Sean and this is DMS Maninder.
Yep.
Is it Sean or is it Zan?
It's Sean, man. Like when I got the name, I really just went on Google and I wrote in Sean, and there was this Bollywood singer by the name of Sean. If you guys have seen this guy, and he's fairly famous, so I'm like, I can't claim my name the way it's spelled, Shaan.
Yeah.
So I was into soccer a lot, and I put the X in front of it, like Xavi or someone like a Spanish player name.
Yeah.
And I just made it Sean, and I wrote it on the back of my soccer jersey that year. And people started calling me Sean, and
It just stuck.
Yeah, the Twitter handle was available, the Instagram handle was available, and I stuck with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Maninder, you go by DMS.
DMS, yeah.
What does that stand for?
Dr. Mixing.
Okay, Dr. Mixon. And you DJ actually as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we'll start from. I know Sean is from Brampton. I've known Sean for a long time.
Yep.
DMS, are you from Brampton as well?
No, man. Saga.
Mississauga. Okay, so you're from these guys' part of town over here. What area did you grow up in?
I came to Canada in 2001. I've been in Saga since. Rathbun and Mavis.
Nice. And from where did you come from?
From Cyprus.
Cyprus.
Well, before that I was in India. I was born in India and then went to Cyprus.
Where the
lived there
fuck Cyprus?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to sound stupid, but where is Cyprus?
Cyprus is a small island above Egypt in the Mediterranean.
Oh shit!
Wow,
It's
that's
sick,
crazy.
man.
So like, is that north of Africa?
North of Africa.
No,
yeah.
North of Africa. Okay, that's dope, man.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Wild,
Did not
right?
know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What
I
language do they speak in Cyprus?
You can't even say that.
Yeah.
Say, I'm fucking dizzy.
Greek and Turkish.
Oh
Greek
damn.
and Turkish.
That's
dope,
sick.
dope. Do you remember anything from Cyprus?
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. How old
you
were
been
you
back?
when you left?
I was 12 when I left India, and then when I came here, I was 14, so I was there for about 2 years.
Oh, okay. So you went to like middle school there.
Yeah, grade 8, 9, and 10.
Oh, that's
Was there a lot of Indians there, or
No,
so you're the only
there's
guy?
no Indians. No,
Damn.
we were the only like 3 people. My dad, me, and my brother. 3 people with pugs in Cyprus. Yeah.
Wild.
Damn.
That's it.
Why Cyprus though?
Oh, my dad got a job there,
Oh,
so he was
that's
there for
crazy.
the IT stuff.
Okay. Your mom's actually a teacher. What does your dad do?
Yeah, he's retired now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
chilling, yeah.
Dope.
He's taking sculpture classes.
That's the man.
Fancy thing, eh?
He's chilling, man. He's enjoying his life.
That's dope. So you made it from Cyprus to here. Did you have anything to do with music back in Cyprus or India?
No.
Not really.
Well, I used to play like instruments like tabla and stuff like that in India when I was growing up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was interested in asking that. Sean, I'm not, if I'm mistaken, do you play the harmonium as well?
I played a little bit, but mostly like the tabla, but that
Okay.
was when I was like grade 2, grade 3.
Oh, way
yeah,
back.
Yeah, but I had it in my studio set up, so anyone that ever came to my studio or my basement
Yeah.
back in the day, they saw it set up and they were like, you play the tabla? And I used to use a lot of tabla loops, so
Okay,
people
okay.
associate me with that instrument a lot.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it's always
That's what it
around.
is, yep.
Yeah. And what's your guys'
on.
background? I know you guys are both trained engineers in music.
Yeah.
You both went to Metalworks?
I went to Metalworks.
I went to Trebas.
Travis, okay. And those are both located here in Toronto?
Both in Toronto.
Nice. What do you guys do when you go to a school like that? What are you learning?
Like my general experience when I went there was I was trying to be an artist. A producer is a very artistic approach, and that school was made more for a technical, learning or education. So it was like, you want to learn that fundamental studio, approach of, tracking rock bands and, coiling wires and setting up mics and using a console, which was cool, but wasn't really, for me, really what I wanted to do, which is be artistic and make music and explore like that. So it was cool in the fact that I met a lot of cool people. There was a lot of cool people in that place, like this guy named Zach Fax, who went on to now is making videos with like,
huge.
with like Tory Lanez and so on. He was in my class. Sick Kick was in my class.
Okay.
So
that's where that connection comes
and there was a lot of people in my class at that time. So I'm grateful that I met these people, but I paid a huge price, and so did they, to kind of like be in a room together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that we learned in terms of like what the industry was at that time, and they were all confused because Napster and all this stuff, Kazaa and stuff was alive, and these guys had no idea how to kind of make a revenue.
Yeah.
And they're kind of asking us.
Like,
we're their guinea pigs.
You're the
you
next
know,
up,
at that
right?
time.
Yeah.
And we were spending a lot of money on like getting Pro Tools set up and
hell
trying to
yeah.
be these engineers that they're telling us the industry standard is, and then we learned like nowadays we still track an FL Studio, and that's our jam.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys were right in that medium time, because I heard, I was looking you guys up a bit, and that you guys actually met through MSN Messenger. So it was that whole era where everybody was like learning about the internet, learning how to download music, learning how to do basically everything on a computer from that old style that you're talking about, cassettes, CDs, and all that whole gig. So that transition. You guys met on MSN, right? That, like I was saying. And what was the connection? Like, why you two, and how'd you guys hit it off?
I think it was a bunch of us just like connecting at that time over DC++ and MSN. And we were like different
DC++,
random,
damn.
like random groups were formed. Like, yo, my boy makes music, you make music, like connect. We would send files to each other and stuff. And that's how I met Sean. Like just like a random group that was made with a bunch of producers together.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think we didn't talk after that for a little bit. And
there
then
was this time where MSN kind of stopped, and
Yeah,
we were kind of getting too old for MSN too, and like BlackBerry Messenger was kind of emerging and so on. But we met through a mutual friend once again, and it was just more like, hey, bring your hard drive. I'm gonna go meet DMS. Let's go, let's go chill and let's just play beats. And
Can we shout out this friend? He put the
yeah,
XDPro
man, Kobe or
together.
Sidhu, man,
Kobe
aka
Sidhu.
Kobe. Yeah, he put it all
Kobe, for
together,
sure.
and
That's dope.
and we just went. I went over to his basement studio that time, and the rest is kind of like history, man. We started just making music just for ourselves, and we kind of like we knew we had this background, and we were not doing music at this time. Both of us were kind of like outside on the outskirts in terms of, is there even an industry to pursue? And this was like an age where it was like the dark times. There was no real structure. Either you're gonna spend your own money in the industry. You're gonna spend money on the video. You're gonna pay a promoter. You're gonna put it on some sort of label, and you're gonna literally just get rinsed because there's no shows. There's nothing, no way to make this money back.
Yeah.
There's barely no YouTube or anything like that. And so we're like, how are we even gonna become artists? Like,
And-
we have to think of this realistically.
Just so people understand, this is like, I would say, early 2000s.
Yeah, it's like
This
what,
is
6
probably
years
around
ago, 8 years ago.
8 years ago, 9
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay. Oh, so about around the
Around
end
2010,
of 2011.
2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, like, who are the big influences out there? Who's somebody that you guys remember listening to and kind of seeing around that time?
Let's see. There was Culture Shock were doing their thing
Yeah.
at that era.
Yeah.
Jay Sean had like just popped off, I think.
That's right. Was that when he got signed to Young Money?
I think
The
so.
Young-
Okay, yeah.
There was this
Drake
cool.
just came out
Yeah.
around that time.
Yeah.
Wow. So long. Oh, I mean, it feels like a long time ago, a decade.
It was a
almost
long
ago,
time
right?
It was
Yeah.
still like the whole England market was big at that
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
all these labels, like you would have to pay for the vocals too. You got to pay for the video, and then you got to pay the label, their advertising, like everything. You had to pay for everything to get.
How do you
sure.
even make money? It
There
just
was-
didn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the difference, what would you guys say the difference is now that you can kind of just do it yourself rather than going through these big pipelines?
Right. Is there's too much like proven independent acts for labels to not like actually want to give up what you're owed. Whereas before they had leverage on you.
Yeah.
They knew like where else people are gonna know who you are. Like you want to be a star. Well, we have that power over you. You know,
Yeah.
we have the the TV stations and stuff like that, and we can put a stop on you. We can make a phone call and get you blacklisted too. So you had to kind of, it was like the mafia, really.
Yeah.
You had to pay your tax and they'd put you on, really.
That's kind of like what we were discussing off air with when UK music was big. A lot of those guys, like we had Roach and Blitz on, we were talking about before, and they were talking about like owning their art and kind of still making residuals off it. And I guess that was a time right before this, like.
That was before. That was like
Yeah.
that was
2005?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess at that time it was a little bit different.
was a
And
different game
Yeah, and then
back then,
people
you know.
started getting locked into.
They
these-
were in the realm of like still selling stuff out of their
Bro,
back trunk.
it's all
Yeah.
it's all based
You know?
on like internet and technology, right?
Once the
Everything is
internet
moving.
came out,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
everything changed.
Look
Yeah.
at cameras.
There's
like
no-
back in the day, you want to
yeah.
shoot a video carrying the big camera on your
100%.
shoulder, right? And now
Yeah.
you're just shooting with little things like
Yeah,
it.
cell
Even-
phone
everything.
videos.
Yeah.
Even like
yeah,
SoundCloud, like like there's so many ways now for artists to put out music. Like
Yeah,
before, you have to go to like what
Yeah.
3-4 labels and talk
Exactly.
to them and get it. But now it's like, you know what, I'll just put it out myself.
SoundCloud, YouTube
Yep.
are
Yeah.
the biggest tools
Yeah.
for that, man.
Yeah.
And
If
so
it
many
pops
people-
off, it pops off. You don't even need to be.
There was
with
only
it.
Yeah.
one label that was doing it. It was in the middle between like the internet era and that for hip hop. That was Koch or whatever that name was.
Right.
They were the only independent label that were like, there's artists emerging from internet. We can actually put them out, and they were the only ones accepting people. But in order to get on, you have to pay them a shit ton of
Yeah.
money
Wow.
too.
Yeah.
Don't get me
The
wrong.
catch.
Like labels are still they're there for a reason, right? For the reach that they have, and like
Yeah.
if the labels are pushing an artist, like if you're an emerging artist and you come out through a label, obviously you're gonna have a more of a reach
Yeah,
than you just put
definitely.
something
Sure.
out on SoundCloud
Yeah.
and stuff, right? But
And like we were coming out straight from school learning like the white collar way of like how the music industry should be and what your rights should be and stuff. And we're writing tests on these things. You know, this is what our percentages should be and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then now we're trying to deal with the Desi people who are saying percentages. Like,
What
how
is
do you even
that?
spell that word? Like, you know, like what do you mean? You know?
Yeah.
And that's the reality. And we were getting shown like what our reality was. And to be honest, it burned us out from even wanting to attempt to continue in that industry.
Uh-huh.
We're like, if we have to be this person to be like a winner in this industry, like we can't compromise like our real life character.
Yeah, but we were
You
also
know?
our teachers were people who were successful as musicians,
Yeah.
engineers,
True.
people who were pretty much retired teaching us. So they're like, even my teacher going to school is like, I don't get out of bed for less than $350 an hour
Yep.
doing mixing, and I'm like,
That's crazy.
A
Fuck,
lot
Yeah.
of money. Yeah.
all right.
Is that at your sound engineer school in
Yeah.
New York? Okay.
It's the same thing. I wanted to go to school for production.
Yeah.
And then when I went there, I was like, all right, I'm an engineer now. I'm
Yeah.
down with that. I'll
Yeah.
figure
I
that
mean,
out.
you're
Like,
here
I-
now.
Helps
Yeah.
your music sound better, but it's still
my
not.
dues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious.
So the two you guys get together. You said you got to his basement. What I want to know is why the decision to work together. If you're both pursuing production, how did that come about? And like, yeah, as a producer, normally from what I've seen and what I've talked to, everybody has their way that they want to do something. They have their thoughts. They have their creative lane. And then usually, if somebody else is getting involved, they're usually getting in the way, or they'll help on a one-off project. But like, you guys permanently decided to work together. How did that happen?
True. Like I would say the main thing that D gave me and still gives me at that time was confidence in what I think is right. There's a lot of times where we might say, respectfully, like I don't really like that, but most of the time it's freaky how close and on the same wavelength we are. And people find it freaky too. Our wives find it freaky. Like it is
just
kind of
works out,
freaky.
man.
Like
Yeah,
the left and right brain,
Exactly,
and it just comes
exactly.
together.
And
kind of thing.
and at that time, we were making very experimental stuff, and it was an era where you had to kind of do it the fundamental way to have the industry standard at that time. You needed certain things, and there was people who were kind of the judges were a different audience at that time that we were trying to get acceptance from, and those people weren't for us. We did not make music for them. At that time, we made music for stuff that he liked it. I liked, stuff he was making. Then we started sprinkling our own touches on each other's, and we're like, we really like this.
Yeah.
And when we first started in the industry, we didn't even want to be music producers. We're like, okay, let's take our engineering backgrounds and let's actually make a business out of this because we spent a shitload of money on this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people see us as the music people in our family, and we want to survive as music people. So we can't rely on the Desi scene.
No.
The English scene is like a gamble. It's so crazy. It's just a long shot,
So-
and especially being in our background.
What do you mean by that? Like, make a business out of it? How? Like, if I'm an artist, I come to you guys.
Yeah, so like let's utilize our engineering background and let's start recording people.
Oh,
we have
okay.
we have the equipment. at
Like
the very
build
fundamental
studios.
small stuff.
Yeah.
And that was our next
Yeah.
step. We decided to just rent a spot and build a studio that people can come to. And our whole like motto was like, yeah, we want to get out of the house because yeah, it's cool coming to people's homes, but there's that an artist can't be truly free sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they still have to say hi to your mom or dad. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
you know, and
absolutely.
it's
True.
still that
Yeah.
you know
100%.
level of
Yeah.
you know restriction and respectfulness that they have, you know, to be them sometimes themselves even.
Absolutely.
You know, so
I think I was talking to somebody. We just had the Frequency Barbecue yesterday, and I was talking to somebody about just the vibe in studio makes the world of a difference. Like the air quality in there. You know, sometimes if it's too hot, it's too cold.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting, you know, how the colors in the room, like everything makes a difference to how that artist is gonna react, how long
sure.
they want to stay there, how they want to create,
Big
all that
time.
kind of stuff.
For
right?
sure, for sure.
I mean, even us, we had more of like a parallel kind of story with JJ's, used to be in his basement, and like I know his family really well, but I can imagine other people coming in and just that awkward walk to the basement.
Yeah.
you know?
I remember the first time I remember was they're saying Jester. He walks in and says hello to my dad and walks downstairs. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely weird. This is different.
This
Yeah.
gotta change.
Yeah.
yeah.
Imagine rappers come to your house at nighttime, right? And
I
your parents
did.
are about to go to sleep and stuff.
I used to
and
have a
they're
guy
like, "Oh,
named Geek
man,
that used to come
okay."
over all the time. He literally had jaw. Used to eat roti at my house, and I'm like, it's too close for comfort right now.
exactly. It is for sure.
So do you guys have a method to your madness? Like, is there something that you do, Sean, and then DMS, do you do something different, or do you guys alternate, or do you work on the same project at the same time? Like, what's
I
the
think
procedure?
I'm more hip hop based, and I would say Sean is more like electronic, more melodies and stuff, more drums. You know what I mean? So we both touch every single project. We just go back and forth. Even if there's a new artist coming to our studio, we'll sit with them and then we'll go back and forth to make, you know, what sounds good to us. Because we both bring like something different to the mix. So it's XD when it's both
That's
together.
awesome.
Yeah.
Or it would be X or D. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
literally every project is touched by
Yeah.
both of us before it, you know, hits the market and stuff.
And it really
like that.
helps us in a way too, because a lot of producers are just by themselves. They're kind of confused, like, yeah, what's going on, you know, and like time management and all that too. It's being two people in a team, like the mixes is done faster, you know, everything is done
Yeah.
faster. I'm working on the product, he's in and he's working on the product. We're both in together, and then we like, you know, talking about
It's
it.
a good filter system.
Yeah.
Like when some of us start obsessing over a product, like a project that we're working on, we know there's something there.
Yeah.
You know, and then we start, you know, like focusing on it a little bit more. So it's really cool. And our team isn't just like us. Like our studio is really cool. Like we have. You guys know Herman. You know
Yeah.
Herman's in
Yeah.
and out of our
Yeah,
studio.
shout out Herman out.
Our boy Kevin. Kevin's
Yeah.
been like very important. Money Music is in our studio. We've learned a lot from him, and this young artist named Manu as well, who we've like he's such a good vocalist and thing, but he makes really good beats
Yeah.
and has really good structures. And we, being a little bit older and learning kind of the boom bap way, really like you know was really good for us to sit with these guys and kind of go through their production styles and stuff because we learn kind of like
Well, that new
Exactly
they have
what
that
the
new
wave is.
and
Yeah.
like that whole vibe, right?
yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's so current. And then we take those skill sets and we kind of just put it in what we think is right.
So for me, not like I'm a dummy when it comes to music and that whole production side, because I always see when I go in the studio, I'm sitting and then there's the guy there behind his whole board or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you guys have your own set of equipment that you have yours and he has his, or
No.
you guys are right beside each other and just kind of going
It's
at it?
like a wrestling team, bro. Just tap in and out, you know.
Straight up. That's it.
dope.
Yeah, no, we built a studio where we centralized everything.
Uh-huh.
We did have laptops before, and it was getting kind of hard
Yeah.
to you know, it was a lot of inconsistencies, and discipline was a little bit hard too. You know, like I'll work on it at home and stuff like that.
okay, yeah.
And we really like, you know, we really hard on each other. You know what I mean? In a good way.
Yeah.
Because we really want to get the maximum, you know, out of all our efforts, and we really see that we were blessed to have an opportunity to be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, to be in a position where we're working with artists. You know, we're on this podcast. You know, and stuff like that. So now, you know, we work so hard to get here. Let's not,
Yeah.
you know, get comfortable, right?
Absolutely.
Now let's actually put in even more work, and
Yeah.
we can relax later. You know what I mean? So this is that time.
That's dope. That's dope, man. We mentioned SoundCloud, and you guys came up in the SoundCloud era. Actually, you guys did pretty well on SoundCloud. I was just checking today. You got anywhere between like 30,000 to like almost 150,000 listens on some of your music. How important was SoundCloud to you guys in your come up?
It was definitely a part of it, man. That's coming up, and M knows it too. Like he's been releasing a lot of music on SoundCloud, and
Yeah, man.
we've done some
KSR is the king
collaboration.
of SoundCloud.
Yeah, exactly. Kay knows it as well, and like it's crazy. But for upcoming artists, SoundCloud's definitely been like a big tool, just helping us.
Especially when
Put
you
the
don't
music
have the budget for a video. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's put it on SoundCloud. Let's see how it goes, and
Yep.
like then you decide on the video or not.
For sure. And
There was no Spotify or anything back then, so it was like very centralized.
It's
So
free,
everyone
bro.
was
And,
there.
and for a lot of dissies that still don't want to pay for Spotify,
Yeah, it's
SoundCloud
free.
is still the go-to.
Straight.
Right, 100%. Yeah, and one of our like most successful like SoundCloud releases was with them. We did like a timetable remix,
Yeah, way
which I listen
back.
to now, and I go, I kind of cringe listening to it, but like for that time,
was
it was
fun.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even us, we have our best numbers on SoundCloud as well, and that's
Oh, yeah.
a big shout out to KSR putting us on there and getting us that kind of audience. But as soon as we're on there, I noticed like the next day how many thousands of people have listened to the
Yeah.
podcast. And
Crazy.
It's cool that everybody's
That's
still
really
attached
cool.
to something that's been going. Which I think SoundCloud almost went bankrupt just a couple years ago.
They were,
right?
they were on the verge, but then
Damn.
they started monetizing. So now if you're an original artist and you post something, you don't get money for those plays, right?
And
So-
they took down like everyone's remixes and all that shit. So
Yeah.
How many accounts did you go through?
so many. Like
This
I
guy
have,
still
I
has
have like
backup
a,
accounts.
Yeah, I have a main,
Yeah, right.
I have a main account, and then whenever I post something, I do it from like a secondary account, and then just repost on my main.
The secret's
Nice.
out.
I mean, everyone should do it.
There's a new one now, right? Mixcloud or something like that.
That's been around. for a
Mixcloud's
bit.
been around, but
I'm
So
not.
hard
it
to
doesn't
know.
have the followers.
The user,
Yeah,
the
not on
user
my
base
phone.
is not that big yet.
Yeah.
I want to talk about somebody that I really enjoy listening to and somebody I've been a fan of for a long time. And you guys have worked closely with him, Dej Gill. That guy
man.
is an extremely talented individual. He's been in the industry for quite a while. I think
Long time.
over almost 2 decades, I would
Yeah,
say.
man. Not
He
longer.
writes music, he sings music. Is he involved in the production side of things as well with you guys, or does he stick to the writing and singing?
No, he's usually involved from the get-go. Our goal usually with him, any song that's kind of been successful with us,
Yeah.
with him, we've never planned that song per se. It was never our intention. It was more just the vibe in the room, and the vibe, usually the music and everything starts from the core when we're just chilling together.
Yeah.
You know,
Usually
whether-
a good song will start with the conversation, you know? like-
Exactly.
And then we take it from there. And Tej is like so talented. He barely writes. Even if I tell him again, like, just write your stuff down, but he doesn't write anything. He's like,
He's
he
off
just,
the top of the head.
yeah,
Yeah,
he just
man.
go in there and he doesn't record on beat. Like he would always miss the. I don't know if you recorded him. He misses the first
Tej
one.
is that
Like,
guy
he doesn't
that's
hit the
like-
first. Like he'll start it on the second or the
Yeah,
third,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
gotta like chop it and
you
move it over.
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think it is with the age that for whatever reason hasn't quite stuck? Like he's had so many hits,
Yeah.
but like for whatever reason, it's like you keep throwing this this ball at the wall and it doesn't quite stick because it bounces off hard and he like makes
Yeah.
some crazy hits. And he's had like I can count at least a dozen huge hits, but for some reason his name just doesn't stay in the industry. Why do you think that is?
For me, I really feel like, sorry to cut you off, is he was also like a victim of that era where it was just like there was nothing to stick. There was no wall you were throwing. You're just like, it was just going
Yeah.
nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sucked because he was one of those guys that was putting a lot of money and resources into that. And when it doesn't work, it's like it's draining. You know, you're emotionally drained. People around you were so excited, and now you got to explain to them that
Yeah.
you know things are delayed or they're not working out as we thought they were, and people made you promises that weren't fulfilled and stuff like that.
He
And
was
I feel-
also part of the. I feel like for our age group, he was the. Because I remember chilling with him, like even like university, he was the older guy in our younger group, but he was the younger guy in the older group.
Yeah.
He was in that
Yeah.
middle state.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like he kind of got screwed in that.
yeah.
sense.
Middle-
Exactly.
middle
He wasn't
child.
an uncle,
Yeah.
but he wasn't like.
He's the
Yeah.
middle child.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
No,
it.
Yeah,
Tej
man.
is a real dude, man.
Yeah,
Like if you know him,
100%.
like he's a real
Really?
guy. Like,
As soon as he sits there, he writes a hit.
Yeah.
right away.
Exactly.
and then family wise, the work wise, everything like he's
adds up.
about his stuff, you know. And
Yeah.
he's meant to do big things. I already told him like, yo, knock on wood, you're gonna be one of the biggest Bollywood singers, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
right? Playback
Yeah.
singers. He has the
Called it
voice
here.
for it. He's gonna be the new
Yeah.
next
His
Kumar Sanu
compositions
kind of
too.
thing.
His
you know?
compositions
Yeah.
are crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like the
And he's
the
up to some stuff right
industry
now,
needs
so,
it.
which is really
so
cool.
it's
Which
good
is
for him.
positive.
Good for
Yeah.
him. Good for him.
That's
It's a
dope,
matter of
man.
time.
No, I need to see Tej make it because that's one of those guys that when you say somebody deserves it, Tej absolutely
Yeah.
deserves
Oh, yeah,
it,
man.
He's putting
Hands
work.
down.
His one track really hit it off with you guys, Rue, that you guys did. Bobby Friction said that it was like a once in a lifetime type track that was made. I don't want to quote him for exactly what he said, but he bigged it up huge.
Yep.
What was the process behind that track? Was it kind of the same as that you guys were saying in the studio?
That
Yep.
was one of the early times we met him, I think.
I think that was the second session we had.
Yep.
First session we had, we were making a remix. I don't know why we started this Teri Meri remix. We just started it.
Yeah,
And
and
we
we had a
started working.
challenge. We had a challenge to make a remix every week for SoundCloud because
Yeah.
SoundCloud was
Yeah.
popping
Yeah.
off.
Like amongst
Which
yourselves.
we didn't keep up with.
Yeah,
but-
we started on this remix. I'm like, yo, this singer's voice is so pitched high. You know,
Like,
It's
how
like-
is this stage guild?
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't
like
make
Tej
any
Gill.
sense. Yeah.
One of our buddies, Ahmed, was a part of our crew. He was like, yo, I know Tej Gill, and he doesn't sound like this, right? And then he's like, yo, I'm gonna bring him by today. So we started working on the mix, and then by the afternoon time, Tej was in our studio,
Yeah.
right, listening to it, and then he actually dropped new vocals to the Teri Meri track, so it actually sounds like him if you go to
Yeah.
our SoundCloud and listen to
We
the remix.
realized that the actual track was actually pitched up, like
Yeah.
2 semitones.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man.
That's why it sounds like that. And the rest was history. Yeah, the next day he came by. It was literally like the next or the day after that.
Yeah.
He came by and we
Started
were
work-
just sitting there and we started drinking just like this, same red cups.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like a shout out to my boy Young MC, who was a producer from England, who had these like guitar riffs, which are the guitar riffs used in that track. And he had sent them over along with the vocal, and we had them lying around, and we decided to just chop them up that day and just loop a couple good ones. And after that, man, Tej did his thing. He kind of just
We were just there, yeah.
yeah. He's able to. We're able to say stuff in English, and he's able to understand it in the way that we're really trying to say,
100%.
and then deliver it in a way that maybe a Desi will, want to understand it. So it was very cool, man.
I think that's the whole vibe these days too. Is like that. So whoever gets it right really gets it right. It's that medium mix of Punjabi and English, but like people like us who aren't really like that fluent in Punjabi, we understand it, we could speak it, but we're not that hardcore with it. The music just fits like so well, And that's the whole vibe I think right now. Hatadini too, you guys did as well. That was a play off of Diljit, right? When
Right,
he was
yeah.
bugging Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
He's still on it though.
You guys just came up. I think I just saw something today. That
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
still
yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
Still on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was literally the same. It was almost like a deja vu. Just different studio now. We had upgraded studios.
Yeah, I
now,
was like,
you
what
know,
is
we were
this
like,
going on right
yeah,
now?
yeah.
I was like,
We
And-
saw that. Yeah, we just did it.
Diljit actually shouted your track out for that, right?
He did.
How does that
Yeah.
feel, man? Putting out his music, putting out a song like that, and Diljit was like, I know now you guys have worked with him, but way back then, like nobody even had contact with that guy.
Right.
So,
yeah.
so for him to like sing your song on Snapchat or Instagram,
It's
however you
unreal,
had it,
bro. It's unreal. Like, it only shows like the power of the internet. You know,
Yeah.
you made something, and like, we were just talking shit in the studio. Like, yo, Diljit wrote Hatadini Tu on Kylie Jenner's thing. Let's make a track about it or something. You know, we
Yeah.
just had a couple of bags. We were making a track, and then it was like, let's put it out. And then 2 days, next day, he was
No,
on his,
Rupin had messaged, and Rupin had walked by the studio.
Yeah.
Just different project, whole different thing, and we're like, check this thing out. And he's like, I'm gonna drop a video to this. And this was when Rupin was doing his skits.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was probably, I think, the last skit he did. And now he's like, he's doing his
his
thing, right?
script videos.
And that's kind of popped off. And Diljit, yeah, we did feel really good. At those times when we were kind of still unknown, it was very validating, that
Yeah,
it got
man.
to him and he heard it, acknowledged it, and had that
Absolutely.
response.
That's sometimes it's the fuel you need to kind of keep going. You could be down and out and just be like, the music thing's not working. Then you get that kind of up, and you're like, holy shit, we're back.
man.
Yeah,
Let's get back in there and
exactly.
do
You-
something.
Confidence
sure.
is a big part
Yeah.
of production.
It's true, man. It's
Big
true.
part.
Yep.
Another big part of confidence that we got to talk about is a gentleman from California that goes by the name of Deep Dollars. So you guys were the ones that I say put him on the map. You guys got introduced to him by a good friend of ours, Simply Hoti, right?
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
Manu
Wow.
Hoti.
He's not here.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, man.
He called because he's lost one of our mics, so he's too scared to come now.
Sounds
No,
right.
no, he's an awesome dude, man. Super, super cool guy. Tell me how that happened, how you guys got into connection with him, and you guys actually went out to Cali to make that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
give me that background story.
It was literally like that. It was Manu had, or simply Dole, whatever his professional name is.
Manveer.
Yeah, Manveer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had just hit. We're family now because I married into his family basically.
Oh,
like my
okay.
wife is his cousin,
Uh-huh.
and we were just having a session one day, and he's like, "Have you heard of the guy's Deep Dollars?" And I'm like, "Yo, I came across this thing." And he's like, "You really gotta listen to this." And he had dropped Rabanu, and Rabanu is still,
Fire,
even though we produce a lot of his records, that's still my favorite record.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it just hits me in a different way.
That's a sick track.
Rule number
Yeah.
one: loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, I just DM'd him, I think. I just DM'd Deep Dollars straight from there. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is amazing, this and that.
Let's work.
And Deep was the type of guy who responded.
He's a super cool
Yeah,
dude,
we were on a
man.
video call
Yeah.
like the next
Yo.
day, and he's like, "How serious are you guys?" We're
They're
like,
like, "Yo,
"We can
reach."
be there next week." That's how serious we are.
Crazy.
We didn't know
And we
like,
were there.
Yo, we didn't know Deep was like that, you know. But like he's like, yo, just reach, and we just picked up our bags. We reached, and he's like, I didn't think you guys want to come.
Yeah,
you
like
guys
when
are
we got
crazy
there,
for
you
coming
guys
out
have
here
no
in California,
understand.
Oakland over here like this. Just fly, take your bags, and come out here.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
and AK went with us too. Shout out to AK. And
Did he know him already or no?
so we made this plan to go down there, and AK would come as well, and we would vlog and some and stuff like that. And there was this big excitement. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone come and everyone just packed their bags and decided to go.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're in California. We land, and Deep's like, "Come to this address." And we're like, "All right." So we Uber the address, and we're like in front of this like abandoned place.
barbershop.
There's no neighborhood in sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's like in the city, and we're like, "Okay, what the hell?" And we call him. He's like, "Come down this alley and come to the back in the parking lot." And we got all our luggage with us. So we're like, "Okay." So but we're already this far in, right? And like we've been drinking a little bit too, so we're feeling a little bit braver than we probably should, right? And we start walking back, and there's like a bunch of people, but like it was a little bit intimidating walking into it, but they were so nice, man. Like him and his crew and his
Yeah.
whole family out there were so welcoming. Like they're our brothers in California now, and we've gone back so many times.
Yeah.
And they've taken care of us like. To full folds, but
Well, I've seen the
at that
vlogs,
time it was a
man.
little like I can't explain to my parents what was going on or anything. It's just like
Well, if you've seen Deep Dollars videos, you know that he rolls around heavy. He's always like something. He's got a gun somewhere, So
Yep.
he's definitely strapped. And then his homies are all super cool people. You guys probably met Chacha out there too.
Yeah.
Chacha's the man.
Chacha is
bro.
the man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I met Chacha one time in one of my trips where he had bought a golf course.
Oh shit!
Imagine he had just bought it, and so they closed it down, and like the fridges were still full because he had just bought it like out of
last week.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Like
And
last
people
week
were
he bought
still
it.
people were still showing up to golf, and they were turning people away. So he's like, man, all this food, all this alcohol is gonna go to waste. So go crazy, guys. This is your day.
Yeah.
So it's like 6 of us, 18 course golf course. You know what I mean? Like I've never golfed in my life, but we're driving around, we're
Oh,
just
man.
barbecuing and
That's
stuff. But
crazy.
Chacha's the man out
Yeah,
there.
That
Yeah.
should have been the video,
That's
right?
crazy. I
there,
swear to
right?
God, yeah.
That's dope. So then, did you guys actually work, or are you guys just partying this whole time?
That was more of like
Yeah.
just a stopover.
I think that was a solo trip you
yeah,
went to,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
To
I was just doing a
California.
stopover. I was visiting some family, but I was like, I gotta go see Deep as well.
Oh man. So back to getting through this dark alleyway. You guys show up with your bags. You guys get your introduction. Then how does the music come into play?
Well, we already knew beforehand that we are gonna make music. He heard our stuff, and he's like, yo, you guys you're tight in the production. We heard his stuff. We already knew we were gonna make music, so it was just more like, I can't believe you guys came out here. We were just like,
On your own dime, you guys paid for your own tickets, or he
yeah,
kind of
yeah. We just covered it because it was a mutual feeling. Like, yo, we like what you're doing with the music, and it's Punjabi. We want to be a part of this. So
Yeah.
we just went out there and see what
That's dope.
happens.
That's super
So,
dope, man. You don't see that a lot. A lot of people, no, if you're not gonna pay for my ticket, I'm not coming. This, that, whatever. But to just go on a vibe,
Yeah.
that's super dope. And it's not close, man. From here to California.
Yeah.
It's not
California,
cheap either.
I think we were looking for a reason to go to California.
It seems closer every year now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so quick.
It's a lot closer than
I like
India.
it, I like
I'll
it.
tell you that.
Did he have everything written before you guys got there? You guys kind of
No.
worked on track by track.
He did the
Yeah.
whole stage approach again. And
Deep
it's
doesn't
fun.
write anything.
Again,
Same
yeah.
thing. I don't think I've ever seen him write anything.
Nope.
Oh, for
damn.
real?
That's
He just
it.
gets in the
Yeah, he
booth
just
and-
freestyles.
I think we
Freestyles it.
tried to have him write something, and we didn't finish that track because that's not how he works.
Oh,
I'll tell you a funny story about Deep, right? Deep's a big dude,
Yeah.
right? So we set up a mic. The first time we were about to record him and stuff, we set up a mic in his room. This big living area in the middle. We set up the mic, the computer's there. He didn't have a computer first. He didn't have no speakers. So we had to go get speakers and all that stuff. We set up the whole system. Starts recording, and it's like, yo, I can't stand here, man. Because he's got to get up every time from the seat to get up and record.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so fun.
After
Like
two
it was
takes,
cushioning.
I think
Yeah.
it was 3
Yeah.
takes. Like, yo, that's it. I'm sitting down here. You guys got to put this mic.
He recorded it all like that. Yeah.
The whole album's done like this. Him sitting on the couch.
That's sick.
That's
It's
probably
crazy.
that's probably where that whole vibe comes from.
Yeah,
that big pun. He just sits down, fucking just goes at it. Eh?
That's where we really learned like this new wave of recording where people don't write, they punch in. They don't necessarily write in their head either. They go line by line. They'll go, start mumbling some stuff, they'll get it, and they'll do literally a sentence and be like, that's good. We chop that sentence, we put it over there. Okay,
Yeah.
now you're gonna get the next sentence. So now you might get 2-3 sentences in a row. You get a little bit of a melody next, and you got a little approach, and you just keep going, and now all of a sudden you got a whole record. But every verse is so like melodic and catchy.
Yeah.
Each verse could be a hook almost, you know.
Yeah.
And then he was doing it like subconsciously, like he didn't even know he was doing it. He just knew he was programmed to do it. He's so good in that way. We were so impressed.
That is crazy, man. The album, if you haven't heard, is called Indian Style. It blew up. It was all over in India, actually, more
Mad
than even
billboards.
North America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it Savin that got behind that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they supported that big. Well, who thought of the track Jasmine? Was that because of Jasmine Sandless?
That was
Yeah.
It was deep, man. We were in the studio and was just like, you seen this girl with the red hair? Then we started talking
That's
about
it.
jazz and we're like, bro, I love her.
Like,
I
we
really
happened
like
to have
her
the
music.
vocals on us. She had just released a Legal Weapon, and Gary had been at her studio like 2-3 weeks before
Yeah.
the LA trip, and he was like, "Hey, just do a remix if you guys want." And we had started with the chords on that, and the chords were catchy, and that's all we had. We went there, and I remember like we had this conversation. And then Deep's like, I'm going to go. And he went to go shower and stuff because we just woke up. We were all just like excited in the morning.
Yeah.
And we were playing it really loud, just the chords and that on loop. And he just came out, out of his room, just like in a vibe, and just like feeling it. And he's like, I got it.
Had the hair out.
Yeah, he literally just laid out a bunch of random sentences and words and lines and stuff that whatever came to him. And he went back and he went to get ready. And in that time, we just started chopping up those sentences. And that's what became the song.
That's
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We had no idea that was going to become a song, like
Uh-huh.
because the structure is very unorthodox, and then kind of just fit the way it did. It was really cool.
That song banged though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge. We were actually out in California, I think, just after you guys, and we had met Deep. We were shooting J Static, KSR, and Jyoti Dillon did with Fateh on it. They did a track out there. Deep came by, showed mad love to us. We were talking to him. And I was telling him, I was like, that Jasmine song, man, we got to shoot a video for that. Like, I just had the picture in my head. It was such a dope track, man. Even till today, I still listen to that track.
Cheers,
Super
man.
dope.
Respect. Thank you.
Bobby Friction, again, a big fan of you guys. He even said that was the best album he had heard in years, which is big coming from a guy like
Yeah,
him.
respects to Bobby, man.
Yeah.
Straight up. Bobby's always been like a big supporter of us, man. I can't believe it. Like he's one of the main guys, like as being a radio host since like introducing Punjabi MC
Yeah.
and still doing it right now, and then giving us the honor of like just like comparing both the albums together means a lot,
How did he
I didn't know
hear
he
about you
introduced
guys?
Punjabi MC. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I think there was a guy named DJ Stin.
He's still
Okay.
doing it at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Sorry, what was that, DMS? He introduced Punjabi MC?
Like he was on the radio at that time when Punjabi MC came
okay.
out. Like he was
Wow.
doing his
That's
BBC.
Like he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
He's
was
been
it
around for a while, bro.
He's been.
He was Bobby in the Hall before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then he
He
had his
used to be
radio
Bobby in the Hall, and then
Exactly.
from that they both split, and then
And then
it was.
he had his own show for
Yeah.
like years. Every like Friday night, he was doing weekly mixes, and
That was a show everyone used to listen to.
then he
Yeah,
got into
man.
like TV
Yep.
stuff.
He's a
and-
pioneer for like
Yeah.
the UK.
Dude, he was in Gully Gang as well.
He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the
Gully
documentary
Boy.
with him
Exactly.
too, right?
Yeah.
He's a personality, bro.
Yeah, he's
You said something about DJ Stin?
Yeah, DJ Stin was. You guys remember who DJ Stin
Yeah,
was?
man.
Yo,
DJ
he used to
Stin's a
make crazy
fucking
music
G,
back
yeah.
in the day. And shout out to DJ Stin. He always sends us like just words of wisdom all the time. You know?
I have
It's
him on
just like- it's just a
Facebook, and
huge-
he's so like
Yeah, he's
Motivational.
such a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
spirit, man. And he apparently, I saw the thread afterwards, but Bobby's the one who explained it to us after we met him. He was like, DJ Stin put it up on his Facebook. I know Bobby put up new acts to listen to. Please, someone recommend. DJ Stin responded, this. Bobby heard it, and then Bobby went onto Twitter and to his show
Oh,
and just went on
damn.
to it.
That's
so shout out to
crazy.
DJ
That's
Stin, yeah,
crazy.
who put it on.
That is crazy.
That's
man.
wild.
That is crazy.
So you guys made the album.
Yep.
Did Savin reach out to you? Did you guys reach out to Savin? How did that work out?
The album was released before Savin, but we pitch all our stuff to Savin because it's the label that we're working with.
Okay.
They passed on it before.
So are you guys actually signed to Savin?
We're not artists on Savin.
Okay.
But we work very closely with Savin.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
just certain projects. you do
Yeah,
together?
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Somewhere in there, we like to consider ourselves still independent.
Yeah.
But we've been part of their movement from the start, and like
Yeah.
they're still family to us.
Savin has
you
been a
know,
great
we-
blessing, man,
Yeah.
from the start. Like,
Did they just take new ownership just recently?
Yeah.
Something
They're
just
Geo
changed,
Savin
right?
now.
The
Yeah.
Geo Savin.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's two companies that merged.
Geo's like
Yeah.
huge,
Correct.
like
Yeah.
full
I wouldn't say
mobile
merged.
company,
I would say
everything.
Geo bought out
Yeah.
Savin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, Geo bought out
So,
Savin.
okay, so whoever made Savin got paid stage.
Geo's like Rogers
one's
in
rich.
India.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bigger. It's
Big,
a part
it's
of
owned by
part
the
of
Tata family, right?
the Reliance network. and all
Ambani-
that.
Ambani
Yeah.
family.
Ambani
Yeah.
family.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
like the
huge.
richest dude in India.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge, man.
I've heard a lot of stories about them too.
Yeah.
Did you see the fucking guy's daughter's wedding?
Beyonce.
Fucking
Yeah, it's
Beyonce,
crazy.
J-Lo, fucking everybody was
Was
there.
that the
Actually,
one
it was
where
a-
they shut down like all the industries?
Yeah,
for
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It was that was a
It was in
the
Rajasthan.
guy from Saban that made that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he signed. He called them, right. He booked Beyonce and
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He was
He-
out.
he
He was
was
part of
God,
that
it's
whole.
Yeah,
crazy,
man,
man,
yeah,
the reach.
yeah, my daughter's getting married, Beyonce, and we just want you to do some like punk on stage with us.
Yeah.
Is that what she did?
She danced with them.
Holy.
We'll
It was
never
like,
see
It was like a Bollywood movie.
Damn, man.
That is
Well,
crazy.
if you're getting paid, like I don't know how much you got paid for that one, but like
Bro,
you
Could
probably
you
dance-
imagine
you probably
Beyonce-
dance with the brand
Beyonce-
too, man.
I heard Beyonce charged like 3 or 4 mil for like a New Year's Eve private performance in Las Vegas. Imagine how much she charged to go to fucking
Yeah.
India for the weekend.
Yeah, how much would you charge to go to India for the weekend? And then think of what Beyonce would
Fucking,
charge.
if Bieber flew in a fucking tub and shit to the hotel, like they renovated a whole hotel for
Wow,
Bieber
I
to
believe
go there for
that.
a weekend.
I believe
Bro,
that.
I think I was in India at that time when he was doing a show over there.
They-
And it was
like,
like
it's the-
articles in the papers like, yo,
Stupid.
this guy has some stupendous requests. Like,
Yeah, man.
They
I need this
renovated
and
a
that,
whole
this and that,
floor of
yeah.
the hotel for
Yeah.
him.
But I also feel like he did it on purpose. I don't know. Me personally, I think he did it on purpose.
For the press.
for sure.
No, for the press,
Yeah,
one, but
for
two,
sure.
because like, look who you're getting money from. Like,
yeah.
10 rich ass
the
families.
richest
Right.
people
Like, let's
in
see
India
what
got
happens.
together to bring
Yeah.
him there because he said
For
he would
sure.
never do a show unless his demands were met, and like a few of the richest people in India got together and did the show, and then it like was apparently really shit.
Oh really?
Yeah, apparently it's really hard to do shows in India. Like it's really hard to get permits.
It's like I want
And to
only
put on
green
these shows.
M&Ms, green gummy beers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're
My-
there fucking
Ace,
picking this
like-
shit. Just get the green ones out.
They sent his drivers to India like a week or two prior just to learn how to drive in India,
Yeah.
and they had like a
sounds
fleet of
crazy.
20 cars.
That is crazy.
I'm impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
demands and,
Yeah.
you,
I
they
like
actually
that.
go off and do it, that is pretty dope, man. So sorry, with Indian Style, you guys released it, then re-released it.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then now Savin owns the project.
Yeah. So we
We have a partnership
I
with them.
can't
This-
go into full
yeah, okay.
details.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
yeah. To be honest, like new labels like Solvent and stuff. Like
Yeah.
shout outs to them. They're very fair.
Yeah.
You know, versus a lot of labels that we were used to dealing with, in which were straight up like this is the way it is, and if not, then good luck. You
Yeah,
know,
okay,
and they're
yeah.
gonna make some phone
They're-
calls.
they're
and
willing to work
You're
it
gonna
out.
get hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Nice.
And nowadays it's getting fair. You know what I mean? I don't still think it's where it should be when it comes to like shoulder to shoulder with whatever the Western market is.
Yeah.
But there's definitely been a like a change, I would say.
And I think it'll take some time as well. Like I think they're figuring it out that if they don't get involved, everybody's doing it on their own anyway. So it may take a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
if they give you that jump start, it helps you hit different markets quicker, and they can probably recoup their money quicker as well, right?
It's happening in India now too, like the royalties and all that stuff. Like we were having a conversation with Jazz and them, Jazz Tommy and his wife, and they were talking about like how the royalties and all that stuff is getting distributed now in India. You know what I mean? So
Only for bigger singers, though. Not like
no, you can do it. You can do it if
Exactly.
you know how to.
Do it.
Yeah, it's in the cloud, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta snatch the cloud.
But yeah, there's a balance. There's people that are willingly forfeiting
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because they
'Cause
know
they
they
don't-
need the clout, basically. You know.
I mean, in India, I feel like for a lot of India artists, it's like, yo, fuck the song, just show mil gaye. Everything's good.
Yeah.
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 Well, I think it turned into that because that's the only country where you can own 100% of everyone's rights,
And you can
that's
do-
100%
Yeah.
illegal, and it's illegal in India too. But it's still happening.
It's still happening.
Nothing is
exactly.
illegal in India.
That's
If you know
it.
the right person,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
is
What do
illegal.
you mean by that, JJ? Explain that.
Like if you're a writer, he's a producer, and he's a singer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm the label,
Yeah.
and you come to me with the song, and I say I want 100% everyone's rights, that means I get your 33, your 33, your 33%.
Mhm.
I'm taking it all. I know it's 99%, but still the 1%.
Yeah.
there. Take it all, and then I own it all.
So
I've-
that's
That's 100%
Like
illegal.
everybody
you
gets
cannot
paid out,
own.
and that's it.
I've
you
I've-
can't do that.
You don't even get royalties off of it.
Oh.
If I owned 100% of the rights and you got royalties, I wouldn't own 100% of the rights because you would
Yeah.
get royalties back.
Uh-huh.
You don't get shit. I own it all.
But you
this is
can't.
me.
You're not allowed to.
And
do
now
that.
you do not own that song anymore. You don't own anything
Yeah.
anymore. Neither do you. You don't own shit.
Yeah,
I own
bro.
it.
Like
You might get a clout, like name clout out of it, but I'm making money off that for the rest of my life.
That's it.
Whereas like in the Western industry, even if like you engineers get credits and royalties.
Royalties, yeah, man.
Like it's like if you mix the song and then somebody's fucking performing that song, you're still getting a percentage of that performance.
Even in
Yeah.
hip hop, like there's like 4 or 5
For real.
producers part of a
Sick.
song, and then might be produced by Boy Wonder or something, but Boy Wonder plus 4 other guys probably
That's it.
worked on it.
Yeah.
Boy Wonder gets the main credit, so he probably gets the majority share, but the other guys still get percentages.
Oh, okay.
Every time
Yeah.
the song gets played on the radio,
Yeah,
that percentages
percentage.
get split.
Somebody,
Yeah.
they're getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, India
Yeah.
needs a SOCAN. I don't know. Do they have one?
I've even heard like in
I
India,
don't
it's like, okay,
So
you're the
that's-
label. We're the 3 people. We gotta come up with money, bro. We gotta put up like about $5,000, $6,000
Yeah.
from our pocket to give the money to the label, plus
Yeah.
give them a video, plus give them a song.
Just to put it up.
Plus, if you want it on TV, that's another package. You got to
Yeah.
pay another amount for that
That's it.
package.
And that's how many weeks you want it running on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, and if you want a prime time spot, you're paying more. If you
More.
want like the regular shit, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning when people are getting
For
ready for
1
work,
hour,
we're gonna
that's
fucking
it.
throw your song on once.
Wow,
Mafia, man.
That's the real
Telling
mafia
you.
right
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
And
People
what
are
are you gonna
selling
do?
their lands, bro, just to get
Yeah.
music out.
Straight up.
But that's
bro.
the difference. Because when I heard, we went to, who went to Whitehill with me? Someone went to Whitehill with me.
Jyoti, right there in the
Jyoti.
back. Jyoti,
Yeah,
wanna
yeah,
jump
my
on it?
bad.
Yeah.
I think you remember this. We were talking about, they were talking about Diljit coming in. It had more to do with movies, but you could see the difference the way they were talking is that when we went in for this song, we brought in someone from Gold Media at that time, and he kind of worked out the deal for us. And luckily, we got everything kind of covered, and we didn't have to put anything in, but we didn't get like everything we wanted. We had to
Right.
base it on the track. But when someone like Diljit comes in, it's like when they have their meetings, it's lawyers versus owner of the thing versus Diljit. And they're working out and hashing out what they need out of that. So it still happens professionally, but
Yeah.
only, I think, for
For
bigger
those
artists.
I
tiered
mean,
artists, yeah.
When you guys went to Whitehill, that was for Patalo's release, right?
Yeah.
When I think the year after that we went to India, me and Jyoti had a song, video, everything done. Jyoti went to Whitehill, waited for like a few hours, and they didn't even give him the time of day because he didn't have the Gold Media people with him.
100%.
But bro, like Diljit would have done the same thing. I'm 100% sure Diljit used to pay record labels just to get same thing that he
For
was in the
sure.
same
Well, no,
boat,
he
right?
had his manager was wasn't it?
Or
No,
he
wasn't
was
it?
with that clique before too.
Wasn't it Inderjeet Nikku's manager?
Yeah.
Wasn't one of something like that? I forgot what it was, but like they had their like he had even probably before that. Yeah, he probably did.
Regardless, like when,
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
artist
yeah.
starting up, first is like I need the label more. You know what I
More.
mean? The
Yeah.
label, I don't need this artist.
Even
And then it's
clout.
like you're bigger than like labels. Like I need this artist.
We did it. We learned from it. Like Rue was that negative process where we talk about it now. And at that time, it was like the only route that we can take.
Is it on a label?
It was under Movie Box.
Under
Oh,
Moonbox,
okay.
Yeah.
Even with Gippy, man, I heard he sold those land to get that big break, paid for everything. And
Wow.
then for him, it worked out. But imagine
Yeah.
how many people that have this vision that they're gonna make it
Yeah.
and sell Bapu's land and then get fucked over.
God,
bro.
wow. For the rest of your life. Then
For real.
Wild.
That is crazy. Talking about going bankrupt and ending up
Selling
in the gutty.
Bapu's land.
Yeah, selling Bapu's land. Some of the people that are poor out in India now are finally getting a voice in a different era or a different style of music in hip hop.
Yeah.
It's really exploded out in India. The whole hip hop scene, they got their own vibe. Now they've come out with this movie, Gully Boy,
Yeah.
and it just blew up all over. M said he went to go watch it. I don't know if you guys watched it or not.
When I
haven't
was
seen
in
it.
India earlier this year, because that movie came out earlier this year, that shit was fucking everywhere. Every motherfucker was like, "Apna time aayega."
Yeah, yeah.
It was like 8 miles. I was like, all right. I was like, it was literally the Desi 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking crazy. Like I was in Delhi when it came out. I was like, yo, let me just check. Like I'm here for 2 days. My gig's a day away. Whatever. I got some time to kill, and sold out. I had to go to watch it in Punjab, and they don't even have subtitles in Punjab, so I was fucked. Like, it was, but yo, it was
Holy
crazy.
smokes.
The
It's all
theater
in
was
Hindi?
ramped. It's all in Hindi.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, I got by though. My Hindi's getting better.
Bhai Saab.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit more urban Hindi in that one too. Yeah.
I mean,
And
it was
it
cool
was a
though
good
to see
movie,
something
yeah.
like that in India for seeing such a big movement. Even in Punjab, like the theater was full,
Damn.
and like people are coming out to see this hip hop shit, and it's like, yo, it's different because you're not used to that. You see like the Kalwinder Billas and the Diljits and all these
Yeah.
fucking Pangra guys, but now everybody's coming out to watch hip hop, and it's
Yeah.
like something different brewing in the
crazy.
country right now.
It's crazy. There's this rapper named Emiway over there, and I've been watching his movement. Like we've been watching his movement, and that guy's crazy, man. That guy himself has like 6.5 million followers on YouTube, just
Wow.
independently,
Wow.
and he's just terrorizing. Like there's another guy named Prub Deep over
Yo,
there, and like
we saw him live perform in front of like
crazy.
200 people, and
Yeah.
like right now in the last 2 years, from when we seen him perform, what's this called, Gagais?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a show
Oh,
in
they brought him
Chandigarh.
out?
Yeah. They
Oh,
did it.
shit.
Sahil and them did his show in Chandigarh, S Cafe.
Yeah.
Small little like intimate 150 200 people, maybe max 200 people.
Yeah.
And now if you see it, like it's him and there's like I forget who his producer is, but
Yeah.
they're all like they're creating this wave. Sess on the beat.
Says on the beat, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's a big part of it, Desi
Big,
hip-hop. Yeah.
big part of Desi hip hop, and these guys are creating like this wave out in Punjab,
Yep.
Delhi, especially Bombay, and it's
Yeah.
like it's crazy to see where like it's crazy you even mentioned Prabdeep because I was just going to say like yo we seen this guy Prabdeep a couple
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
and like he's killing it.
Listen to his last 4 songs that he just dropped. Is like Umar, I want to say Hira, something like that. It's all this like cassette artwork. Man, it's so fire, and he's produced a lot of it himself,
Yeah.
which is so crazy. And then he has
Yeah.
like these live instrument people playing like guitar and bass lines on it. It's just so refreshing to hear. Such a complete project. Sometimes you hear Desi hip hop and you're like, man, it sounds very like 90s hip hop, very sounds
Yeah.
2000s hip hop. The engineering is very 90s hip hop. You know, like it's not really there. It's cool, it works over there, but you don't really get it.
Yeah.
Then there's you hear this stuff and you get chills and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, you know, like
I mean,
you get challenged. You know, as producer, when I like JJ's one of those guys. Like when I hear production from him, like part of me gets challenged, and that's a good thing because I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, like
Yeah, you-
now like what's my next move? You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
this is sick. You
You
know what
just
I mean?
stepped
And
it
like
up,
It's the
yeah.
and,
same.
you know,
Same thing. Locally, you have to do that, man.
yeah, and it's part of the fun, you know,
Yeah.
like it's part of how we grow
Yeah, no.
as producers and artists and so on. you
I
know?
love that, man. I mean, your guys' sound is refreshing like that too. Sometimes I think ahead of its time with some of the music you guys have put out. Same thing with JJ. Like he just dropped that track "Boggle" with Deep Jandu.
Yeah.
I heard that beat. I think I must have freestyled on it drunk like at least 10 times before.
Wow.
And now he dropped it, and it's just insane. It just changes things, and your mindset just changes about the way that you wanted to hear music. You're like, oh, I didn't know I could hear it like that kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Just takes you back. You mentioned cassette artwork. It's actually made a comeback with Nas. Nas just dropped
Lost
his
Tapes.
Lost Tapes, and he's
Yep.
got the cassette artwork. You guys it blew my fucking mind, man. When you guys made a track with Nas, like how did that come about? How do you guys get that opportunity?
Fluke.
That's another thing, like where Mansawan comes into play. Right?
Okay.
Sorry, excuse me.
The shot
Yeah.
was too strong.
yeah, it's like I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
right now.
I
It's
mean,
like yo,
Savin set that up. I would say they so the movie released. I want to say like February, March or sometime, and it was October or August or something like that. Around that time, prior to that, and Savin sent us a script
Yeah.
of this movie coming out. It's a Gully Boy. You know, they're like, these are the potential actors are going to be in it and stuff like. I think they had it figured out, but they're still downplaying who's going to be in it, just so we don't, you know, leak anything. And they're like, read the script and then read the last part and make us like a ending soundtrack.
Read the
with
script, like, of the
yeah,
movie?
Yeah, yeah,
What the
We're like,
fuck?
well, what is this? Like, I haven't read a book. Like,
I was
you
like,
know,
what?
it's so
It's
long.
like, it's like 100 pages.
Yeah,
man.
it
It was
was-
like, what's
it was-
going on with this?
It was overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Did
So-
it say Gully Boy on the script?
Yeah, it did.
It was
And-
like the actual movie script.
And
Yeah.
it's in
wow.
Hindi, the writing?
No, it's
no,
all
that's-
translated in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good enough for us, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, we were like, okay, so we made our versions of what we thought it was going to be. And
Yeah.
all those versions were never used, and that's when we were still making like trap beats per se, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of more current. And they were like, "Hey, man, like this whole movement in India right now is more revolving around the whole boom bap, you know, era and stuff like that." And that's when they're like, "You guys need to like dial back and go back to like the 80s hip hop, 90s hip hop." And we were on like attempt like 30 plus at that time, and we sent the most basic beat. I didn't think we thought that was gonna get picked. And
Yeah, they
it
wanted
got
like
picked.
something like cool G rap kind of style, you know, like
Oh,
old school
damn.
like boom bap shit.
like
like,
real
yeah.
old
Yeah, they were sending us
we
references
were
like
making
that.
like new age beats, and we're sending them like.
And it's
what do you
hard
think
to
of
like
this?
dial back like that all of a sudden
Yeah,
and
yeah.
start making like these like, you know, almost like sampling records without sampling records because you can't get in trouble, you know. So, but still getting that sound
Yeah.
in your production and stuff.
Yeah.
So we it was pretty one of the most challenging projects we did.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Was there any opportunity in between that to like talk to Nas or meet him or anything
Unfortunately
like that?
not.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would have
yeah,
been
yeah.
dope.
They,
Yeah,
they told
yeah.
us that they needed a track for Divine, so we in our minds we're like we're making this for Divine. That was it,
Oh,
and then
big up Divine.
And it was big enough for us at that
yeah,
time.
it was
We're
like,
"Oh, we're
okay,
doing
dope,
Divine,
you know?
dope. Yeah.
And then they're like, this is gonna be used for a movie, and then the Gully Boys got involved, and they're like, Ranveer Singh's gonna be on this. I'm like, okay, dope, sick. And then
even
they're like, there's
sicker.
gonna be a hip hop rapper on this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They
who's
gave us
gonna
like
be
a short list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were in England this time, and they're like, "Yo, the Nas is on this. You got Nas vocals in and shit." I was like, "What?"
We got like a WhatsApp.
Yeah, we literally
message.
had like, "Okay, guys, we're sending you the Nas vocals now." It's like,
It's like a Khaled moment.
We were getting ready for a Bobby
That's
Friction
fucking
interview.
crazy.
And you found out before
Yeah,
that.
we were just like literally in the flat, like the 1.3 million pound flat that I would never live in because I live in Canada. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, we were getting ready, and it was like, yo, we got vocals.
The Nas
Apparently,
vocals
it's
are here.
Nas vocals. I was like, what? Yeah,
yeah, it's unreal, man.
it was unreal after that.
Were you
yeah.
able to talk about it on the air with Bobby?
No,
you can't talk
you know,
about it,
like
yeah.
those
No,
things, like
that was-
until they happen,
it was a pre-release.
Never want to jinx it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true enough, true enough. Why don't we listen to that song? We'll come back and talk about it a little bit. All right, we're back listening to that track from Gully Boy. What was the name of that track?
New York Sig, Mumbai.
New York's in Mumbai.
New York's in Mumbai. That had Nas, Divine,
Nazy,
Nazy,
Ranveer Singh.
and then production-wise, that was just you guys, or did you co-produce?
There
with
was
the-
another producer by the name of Il Wayno,
Okay.
who actually won a Grammy this year for producing something on Shaggy's album.
Shaggy,
damn.
Shaggy and Stin.
Yeah.
Shaggy dropped an album this
Shaggy
year?
dropped an album with Stin.
Stin.
Desert
The
Rose
Rock.
Stin.
Oh,
Shit.
like
And it won a Grammy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I just went under the
Damn.
radar.
Holy moly! So did you guys did like a portion of it? He did a portion kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, we
Okay, okay.
pretty much bounced back and forth.
Okay, that's pretty
Yeah.
dope, man.
It's like we did our part. We sent the stems over. He did his part. We sent stems back. Then we did
Yeah.
our part again. We sent them over, and then a couple of months later, we heard that Nas was on it.
Did things change for you guys after that dropped? Like a different sort of following or different type of people that start reaching out to you, or was it like what would you say was the defining moment where you guys dropped something where like things like you knew things changed? Was it this?
I don't
or
even
was
know
it
if we've
something
had that
else?
moment yet. To be honest,
Not
like,
yet, eh?
Or in a sense, like every single drop is that moment, right? When
Yeah.
you think of it, like
As another step
yeah,
up
as
kinda
another
thing.
step up.
Up to
Like
that
when,
point, right?
Yeah, when we did the Gully Boys, we had a lot of we saw a lot of followers, which were like hip hop followers from India. You know what I mean? So they started following us, and then we work with Diljit, and we see a lot of Punjabi followers that are. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's growing.
yeah,
I
it's
mean-
just that we work with some like rappers and stuff like that, and you see the difference. You know, like in terms of how they reap their rewards.
Okay.
You know, and like in terms of what the industry will pay back to you for your efforts and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So like in the Desi industry, like you can only like you celebrate for a day, and the next day you have to think of the next one.
Absolutely.
You know, that's how fast it's moving. That's
I
how big
think
the
that's
population
almost
is.
everything
Yeah,
nowadays,
that's with everything
right?
now,
Like,
man.
You,
It's
you
like-
we get so excited about music dropping, you know, whether it's you guys dropping something or it's these guys, and you're so hyped, and then it drops, and then literally the next day people are like, okay, what's next now? You
Yep.
know, like, and they're done with it, and it's tough, man, to keep up with that work ethic to stay in there and continuously keep dropping hit after hit.
and the promotion part's the hardest part, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like.
It's
I
hard.
get bored promoting the same thing after
Yeah.
a day.
Swipe up,
I don't know how. Yeah, man. I don't understand the next person. I'd like promotes like for 2 weeks straight same song. Like, there's no
It's
way
hard.
It's a
my
it's a
following is
different
liking
kind of-
the song every day.
It's a different kind of brain for marketing people.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I don't know how to do it.
Like we kind of stopped reposting a lot of stuff now because like the content is so like it moves so fast, and when people see so much of it, they don't value it so much anymore. And then the more they see of it, they're gonna be more prone to skip over something. And if you had a story that maybe mattered more, or you held something to it where you needed something from it, and people skip over that,
Yeah.
thinking they're gonna see the same thing over and over, you've devalued yourself. In a way,
I have close friends who muted me because they like, yo,
Yeah.
when you come out with a song, it's gonna fucking repost
Right,
for a
yeah,
year. I'm like,
same.
I don't want to see any of
Yeah.
that. I'm like, that's fair.
It
It's
kinda
fair,
goes,
yeah.
It goes both ways though, because I hear from some people that you should be posting continuously over and over, and it kind of sticks in your mind. Because if you just see it once, there's so much other content you forget about it. So I mean, which way do you go about it? I feel the
Yeah.
same way. Like even with the podcast, with anything, even on my own business, I feel like I'm boring people. I'm doing
No,
too
but
much.
that-
I mean, it's hard to determine when people are getting bored
No,
and
I-
when people are still enjoying it. Like,
I
yo,
think it's more us too, because we're in the industry. We see it all the time. We watch everybody.
yeah.
yeah.
And then, but like the regular person might not feel like that way.
like as an artist, when people are sharing your song and showing this love, you feel
Yeah.
appreciated. You
Yeah.
love it. Right?
Look
Look at
at
G Sidhu. He's the
G Sidhu,
greatest
yeah,
example. He
yeah.
posts everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
What we
And-
try to do is like when we're posting something, we will not we don't post a lot. If we are posting, we try to engage with whoever's responding and whoever's talking. You know what I mean? So anybody that is responding to us, we reply to them and stuff, and just try to engage.
Yeah.
But I also think Instagram, like we're talking mainly about Instagram right now. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Instagram's not like it's not the music platform. Like, yeah, okay, post the song that you know is coming out, but people want to see you as an individual. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm watching Drake on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not watching Drake for his songs that are coming out. I'm watching Drake because Drake's an individual who's got a house, he's got a
That's
ball
it.
court in his house, he's got this and that. I'm paying attention to that, less his music. But I know when his music comes out because he puts a little bit.
Yeah.
through
At
it.
the same time,
Yeah.
now Instagram is doing this Instagram video shit where
Yeah.
you can go swipe up and you can watch it for like a minute, 2 minutes if you want to post.
You
your
can do
song.
anything.
IGTV,
There's a website you can do if you
yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to. It's not just YouTube.
I
You
mean,
can do
like, but like
anything.
Instagram's
yeah.
becoming. I feel like Instagram's becoming that kind of a place where like they're trying to take that, like, yo,
Well,
like
I
YouTube,
swipe
like
up
YouTube almost,
everybody,
right?
it's
they
like
post the 50
YouTube.
seconds in, they reel
Yeah.
you in the 50
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Like I watched so many videos. Where
And then
like, yo,
continue on Instagram
what's going
TV.
on?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on? What's
Instagram
going on?
TV,
That's dope.
IGTV. Now
But-
even YouTube has YouTube stories. Like
Yeah.
you can do stories
Yeah.
on YouTube
Oh,
now.
shit.
I think the biggest thing YouTube has done is YouTube Music. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Underrated.
What is that?
It's like, yo, it's like basically you pay for Spotify, you pay for YouTube now monthly.
Oh, okay.
And now instead of your YouTube app closing down every time you shut it, it keeps running, and you like whatever music is available, whatever videos you want to listen to on YouTube, you can now go and listen to them like a subscription app.
Make them
Oh,
offline and stuff like that. Yeah.
Man, it's moving so
I have
quickly.
that.
The
I love
industry,
it.
man. On like
Yeah,
so many levels, and you just see like when you think Snapchat's got the next best thing.
Snapchat's dead, man.
You know,
You know, but
You would
Snapchat,
think so,
like,
but
yeah.
it's not dead in India. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
It's still running
TikTok is
hard
the
in
new
India.
thing in India.
TikTok is crazy.
TikTok is the new
Didn't
thing
they
in
Didn't
India.
they
ban
ban it?
TikTok?
They
They're
did, and
still
they brought it
using
back.
it.
and
It got-
they
it got
I don't know,
unbanned.
man.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I heard that was a whole publicity stunt.
Yeah,
Ban it, get
yeah,
more
yeah,
users
yeah.
come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But sorry, to answer your question too, like, you know, those stories used to work when people used to spam the stories. It's just like any good thing ever that ever happens. You know, we're from we go around Brampton. They start rinsing it.
Yeah.
You know, and they start abusing it. And then when that happens, and guys like on our industry, we follow any other person, any artist and stuff. And when every artist is doing it over and over, man, it becomes almost
Monotonous.
annoying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it becomes crazy. And we've muted people too for
Yeah.
that reason. It's just like it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like you have to do it because it's like
You have to.
this fucker's doing
But you
it.
have
I
to
gotta
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
you
you're
gotta
stuck.
have a
Of
balance.
course.
Love you all, truck parke. Swipe up, karo.
It's like anything, man. Like you guys are speaking about Drake. I saw his post the other day. I didn't know what this face app was, and I was like, "What the fuck happened to Drake? He looks so old, you know." And then all of a sudden, like within the next couple hours, the face app is all over the world.
I almost
Like,
bought it
everybody's-
last night. Yeah, I was
You
like
have to
five
buy it?
You have to
How
buy
is
it?
That's free, man.
So I'm on
It's free.
Android. No, I'm on Android.
on
They have the
Android too.
free. They have the free version,
not
but
that
then they
bad.
have all these other filters you can
Oh,
do.
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I was deep
Yo.
into this app now. Right, I'm like $5 a month and cancel it at the end of the month. Should I?
There's
I was
an
talked out of
article-
it. I talked out of it at the end of the
There's
day.
some
yeah.
facial recognition shit going on.
I just
Yeah.
saw that
I
today.
just
yeah.
read that too.
They're saying that it could bite you later on in life.
The
Russia,
CIA is
this
coming
and
for you,
that,
bro.
yeah.
Wow.
That's
I mean, we're
crazy.
not doing anything.
I look
so-
exactly
Yeah,
like my
that's
dad.
what I
I
say.
used it and I look identical to my dad, man. Like it's scary how
Oh,
crazy
man,
that thing
yeah.
is. Yeah.
It was too real.
I think
JJ
it's
looked the
too
same.
real.
Yeah.
It hit us yesterday.
I say you call me Santa Claus, didn't you?
That's crazy. You guys have, through music, you've had the opportunity to meet a lot of cool people. I was looking through your guys' stuff. You guys have met guys like Noah 40, Drake's producer. We were just talking about him.
Yeah.
You were at a hip hop summit or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have met Diplo. I saw a picture with Diplo. Like, how did these opportunities come about?
Some of them are created, and some of them are just like blessings, man.
Yeah.
Like no one was a blessing because we do this workshop with this guy named Dr. Elliot Gann. He's from Oakland, and he ran this workshop called Hip Hop for Lunch or Beats for Lunch, and it was basically using beat making as a vehicle to teach people who are not, have hard time learning the fundamental way.
Kids
And-
mostly.
Yeah, teach them like science, technology, engineering, and math, and use like beat making as a vehicle for that, or hip hop beat making per se.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool program, and we had the opportunity to do a workshop for him at this kind of like bigger thing. And then after that, he was like, "Hey, all these like schools in Toronto are looking for these workshops. Like they have a budget for it. They're looking for these students that basically skip class. Like these are like guys in grade 4 who are skipping class already. Like
Damn.
it's pretty crazy. And when they hear like a hip hop workshop is happening, they're there like present.
Paying attention,
You
yeah.
know,
We did some workshops in some pretty bad considered schools. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like metal detectors when you walk in
Yeah.
and stuff like
yeah,
that.
in Toronto and stuff. But like at the end of the show, like there were kids that were getting bullied by the bully, and when they
And then there was
Go
a bully
through the-
in the class as well.
yeah,
You
and
know,
at the end of the shop, they're both like just making the beats
they're
together.
making
and
beats
stuff, you know what I
together,
mean?
they're
So it's like-
high-fiving.
You
and
find that
stuff.
common ground, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
just
was a
like,
really
yeah.
cool program, and it's actually a program that's been in Oakland. It's in the actual school board now,
Mhm.
so their music
Wow.
program is actually like his his
Yeah.
whole program.
That's so
I think
awesome.
the
Yeah.
education system is finally starting to figure it out. Like I always say, man, like nothing against like higher math and all that, but like things like slope, like I've never used it ever again in my life. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
some people do use it in
Yeah.
their day to day, but like just regular finance, like they didn't teach us how to do our taxes in high
Exactly.
school.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly-
how to do like regular finance and investing, like all that kind of stuff.
Schools are doing a lot of this shit now. So like my cousin, she's a teacher, and I just seen a Snapchat. They have like a summer school workshop thing, and they were teaching their kids how to DJ. They had a whole bunch of little SBs set up, like 20
Wow.
of them.
Bro, it
And
was-
I'm like, yo. First of all, why the fuck did you call me?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's
for
dope.
sure.
'Cause so they
But
have,
like it's a big push even for me. Like
Yeah.
for me to pursue like this DJ whole music thing. I mean, a lot of it goes back to me in high school. Like my high school was one of the few high schools where the music teacher was actually a musician.
Yeah.
Like this is what he did. So we were learning Cubase, Reason in high school. Whereas like when I went out of high school and into college and like Metalworks and whatever, it's like cool. I already have a little bit of a background in this. And like for a lot of schools, they're just teaching you how to play the fucking recorder.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
learned how to
Barely,
play the recorder.
if that.
no,
Yeah.
some of these schools that we went to, they actually have studios set up inside the school, right? And
I mean, Brampton Public Library has now a room that you can rent for free if you are a Brampton library card holder,
Yeah.
and you can go and produce and work on music there.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Fire.
Pretty
Wow.
big.
I didn't know
That's
that. That's
wild.
huge.
Brampton's coming up, bro.
yeah, all these libraries also have 3D
I,
printers.
I
bro.
think he
Okay.
just sent, he just sent like every DC to the library right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I need a card.
The next
running.
Musiala hit's coming from your local library.
That's wild, man.
That is
So they had
cool.
like they have a program called STEM, as he was talking about the science, technology,
Engineering and
engineering
math.
and math, and then they wanted to put this. They wanted to call it STEAM to put the word arts in it,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so when we were discussing the program, like that we were teaching these kids, like how can you put math and all that stuff into music, like so when we were making beats, counting beats and stuff, and
Yeah.
like fractions.
It's
and
all math.
It's all math,
Yeah.
right?
It's all- music
the
is all
kids are
math.
like, what?
Music
This
is
is
math.
this is the
Yeah.
stuff that I don't like, and I'm now understanding this how
Yeah.
what's working over here.
We were
So-
even like, we went so deep. We're like, for the people who are almost hard headed and almost stubborn, we're like, a lot of it is communication.
Yeah.
We play like, Paul McCartney and Kanye sit in a room with DMX, and these guys have to make a record together. Although they speak the same language in many different forms, they gotta understand each other.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of let your guard down and do it for the art, for the process and for
Yeah.
the goal. And you guys are on a team now. And that's where it was like the bully and the guy who was getting bullied, came together and we're working together. And we got testimonials from the teachers and the principals after saying, wow, and they invited us back to the school and they transitioned their music program into making a studio and having the students go through that stuff. And it was really cool. Like we still follow a lot of the people. There are diehard
Yeah.
fans, some of the students we taught because they're
That's dope.
range anywhere from grade 4 to grade 12 at that time.
That
And we
is
went
cool.
to
crazy.
Emory Collegiate.
And you
Oh,
never
damn.
know.
And
like,
it was
the-
it was after school program at Emory Collegiate.
Yeah.
Damn.
And imagine we walk in, we're two brown guys too. So and the guy that we have is a Jewish guy. So they're like,
They see
you
a
guys
guy-
are the hip hop
They see a guy with a
making guys. Like, what's going
like
on?
I walk in like, yo, you gonna teach us hip hop? Like, who is this? What's going on? And shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
this is
And
sweet.
so then we're like, yo, man, play some. And they're like, and they have an open environment there, the after school program. Like people are swearing and just,
Yeah.
like non-black people are using the N-word. Like it's just what it is,
I feel
And
like
it was wild, bro.
the N word in Toronto for a lot of people. I use it all the time, man.
Yeah.
We see it
I
in our
feel like I'm
comments.
validated, bro. I'm just a shade lighter.
I'm from Malton originally. Like when I first moved from Montreal, so back in the day, we used to get regulated a lot. You know
I mean,
what I mean?
it
Like
was
there was a
weird, but
lot of
then-
people around who used to be like, put us in our place.
but you
So we
grow up-
learned to just not say it. you
I've
know?
grown
Like,
up with so many black people. Say, it's all right. It's all right. Sometimes it depends on the situation.
gotta
But, like,
know
you can
your
get away with it.
circumstance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
like-
people say it freely and they say
Yeah.
it confidently, and I still get a little taken back. I just
I do
don't,
too,
I don't
I'm
know
not
how to,
gonna
I don't
lie,
know
I'm
how I
just
feel
gonna
about
say
it.
we should not
Yeah.
use that
Like,
word.
I
That's
was
it.
in
Same way.
Detroit
Don't
and
use
I
that
met
word.
these guys out there that were like really serious about it and they took it to like there was no joking about it. If you say
Yeah,
it, you're
for
gonna
sure.
get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
it
use
was
that
like that.
word, man.
And then
Yeah.
you
What
see
the fuck?
like we have friends that are black and they're totally cool with it. It doesn't matter. So I mean nowadays
on your-
everybody's like real
Exactly.
sensitive about stuff. You got to be careful about where you are and what you say. But I mean it's a topic for discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Nav, man. He's dropping it in every fucking song. That's validation.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
he stopped it. Yeah,
Really?
after his like first album, you'll never hear it anymore. I think.
It's hard
Yeah.
to like justify. I feel.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
there's no good reason why you should say it. So then it's kind of like then you might as well not say it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. They're always gonna be like, man.
But I mean, getting back to what you guys were saying about some of these people that are grade 4 to grade 12. I mean, I love that. I love hearing that because you'd never know the spark that you guys lit. You know, that of somebody that could be the next XDPro, next J Static, DJ M,
Oh, yeah,
KSR,
100%, bro.
You know, Nav. Like Nav is from that area. You know, he came up in
Yeah.
Rexdale, and to see him do so well. And now, like, I love seeing him when he's on, like, the TV shows and all that, and he's talking. And I didn't think he had it in him to speak like that. Now he's so open with the way he
Yeah.
speaks and so confident about what he's saying.
It's refreshing. to
Yeah,
be
it
honest.
is, man.
Yeah.
To see somebody that looks like you come from a place that you're
Yeah.
from and then do it on that level. Like, I mean,
100%.
it's dope to see, man. So keep doing what you guys are doing with that, man. And keep that up
Cheers.
for sure.
Thanks, bro.
I want to talk about Gary Sandhu. You guys did a track with him that was called Love.
Yeah.
That was the song that I was saying that was a bit ahead of its time.
Yep.
Even though you guys hit over 2 million views on it, did very well, the song. What was the process behind that? And then what did you guys do after that made your songs a little more relatable to now times?
Yeah, I think that one was, it was a little rushed, I would say. Gary had just come by and he had come by to the studio to shoot a music video in. And he had just set up and he's in a music studio shooting a music video and he's like, what happens here? And we're there, we're like, we make music obviously. And we showed him 1-2 things and he just said something. He was like, I'm gonna show up tomorrow at 3 p.m. Just be here. We're like, okay, cool, right?
Yeah.
And so we were there like 1:30 p.m., you know, and we were waiting for Gary. And surely enough, at 3 p.m., he shows up by himself.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, wow, we didn't expect that. That's hella
Yeah.
cool, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was just cool about everything. We showed him some beats, and he literally freestyled that.
Yeah.
He did it on the outside mic. Usually we use like a mic like this to do references outside of the booth,
Yeah.
just while the energy's flowing and, you
Yeah.
know, not to disrupt, you know, any sort of songwriting and stuff like that. So he just kept singing on this outside, and then he's like, keep those takes. That's what we're going to use. At that time, we're like, man, we can't even tell you if we really want to, you know.
Like, bro,
go
there's a
inside.
condenser in the booth, you know,
we
like,
got a really
it's-
good mic, man. We got a preamp, everything. Like, we just bought this. Like,
Yeah.
But he was just like, yeah, man. He's like, send it to me. He's like, I'm going to put it out. And he just threw it out there. And like we
like
had
that
no
record.
time to really like digest it.
Uh-huh.
We like it personally.
I like it.
Yeah.
But we
It's
completely
different.
agree with you. Like we chill with like guys, you know, when we take limos to Niagara Falls, like we're playing the Sheriman and Sidhu Musewala, and like we can't play that track.
No.
You know, they're gonna be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like who ruined the party, right? and but for us, it was just felt right for us.
Uh-huh.
And it was just cool that Gary liked it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he acknowledged it. He knew it was ahead of his time, but he's like, I'm going to try it anyways.
It's
And we
something that he almost
appreciated that
wanted
he
to
had the
get out.
artistic
Yeah.
approach versus, you know, having all these judges around. And I think that was the reason he didn't really bring anyone with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to do what I
Smart.
want to, you know,
That's
want to
dope.
do, you know, because we've all been there.
Yeah.
You know, you look over the video director and video director's like,
Yeah.
you know, the video director's more of the music director than you sometimes. You know, and that's the industry we live in.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. No, that song, I liked it personally, and it's exactly what you guys said is what happened. It was kind of ahead of its time. It's something that not everybody will get. It's like that Kanye vibe, you know, when he came out with that album, I forget what it was called, but it was just totally different.
Yeah.
And maybe 10 years from now, people will go back and listen to it and be like, okay, I kind of get what he was doing here. It's just one of those vibes, right? But it's sometimes you just creatively, I think you just got to get whatever you want out of your system, and you do what you want. It doesn't have to work for.
Yeah,
the
I mean, we
industry.
don't try to follow the norm. Like, what's out there, we don't want to be that. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
try to make music that seems and feels good and feels right.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be, whatever. Like, as long as it feels right when you're doing it, right? Just
Yeah.
put it out.
We had
Somebody's
a
gonna
session,
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a session with, we'll just say, we had a session with Ninja one
yeah.
time, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we were mad excited about it, right? We're like, Ninja's coming to our studio. And he sat down, and I don't know if he just wasn't, I think he might have been confused what he was looking for. And we went through, 50 beats, 60 beats, like forcing it now.
50,
Came to a
60.
point where, like, I'm going, and D just, like, took my hand off the mouse. He's like, no more, man. You know, there's no
Yeah,
more.
that's
Like, we're
it.
just, like, killing ourselves here,
Yeah.
you know? And he's just like, man, he's like, you guys basically said we're not good. Right?
I
Like,
feel like
you know,
Ninja
and-
is a confused artist.
Yeah, we met with him too before
He's big.
before Talk That came out.
Yeah.
And he was pretty amped, and he was down. He's like,
Yeah.
we want to do this song, this song, this song. And then we were working on a few songs, and the manager's like, look, we want to sign you permanently, and we're like, yeah, we're not doing that. And
Yeah.
then we went another time, and his vibe just changed. Like after the song came out, and it's just like, oh yeah, we'll meet, blah blah blah. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, you know.
I feel like he's very confused because ever since Tok Tareha came out, and if Ninja is listening to this, he never had a banger after that.
No, I agree.
Real-
And
real
I'm,
shit.
I'm
It-
more
it-
the
I
neutral
have a
listener.
banger. Well, no, we have a banger sitting on our fucking
I mean,
computer, which is a
Legitly-
legit banger.
Which hasn't been greenlit.
Tok Tareha is getting to that like point of like obviously they do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fucking sick song,
Yeah.
but. Like ever since Tok Tareha, he's come out with these songs where he's like fucking super depressed or he's super happy. It's like, where are you, bro? Like,
Yeah.
are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you depressed? Are you fucking like
And
what's wrong with
we
you?
were stuck in that, question. We're like, okay, do you want something
What are you looking for, bro?
lit or you want something sad? And he's like, well, show me what you got. I think
That's
he
what
was
he kept
looking-
saying,
and
like,
we
show me
were
what you got,
okay.
right?
And he's like, the beat changes too much because it was like the Western
Yeah.
structures,
It
you know,
sounds
where
like
like the
he
808
might-
drops.
It's
I mean-
funny though. How long ago was this?
This was at least
3 years
3
ago?
years ago.
Yeah, I bet you when he comes in the studio now, he'll fucking love what you guys do
Yeah.
because everyone else is doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
That's
was
it.
the same
I was-
stuff that we're using now.
I was
to be
just
honest.
gonna say
Yeah.
that. It sounds to me, I've never met him. You guys all have, but it sounds like he's one of those guys you kind of got to tell him what he wants, and then
Yeah.
it'll.
You need
just
the
happen,
lyrics.
you
You
know?
And
guys have
also-
lyricists there too.
Yeah.
I feel like he's such a strong vocalist. Like he's such a strong folk vocalist. He
He's
should
too
stick.
dirty.
He should stick to that Tok Tareha shit. Like I mean, some of
100%.
the like the Adit and all that kind of stuff, they were big too. But like, yo, bro, at the end of the day, you want a song that's gonna be playing at parties.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Punjabi singer.
Yeah.
Right? As much as you do with the fusion stuff, you still want the stuff that's gonna be banging at parties.
Yeah.
And he has not like with his voice, he could be paralleling people like fucking Manmohan Waters because that's
Yeah.
how good his voice
He
is.
has the range.
I
yeah.
think that was the only party track he did, right? The Tok Tareha
And,
was
and
all
even
the-
now it's like 5
And
years on,
Gal Jattamari.
but that doesn't
was-
play.
yeah.
But it doesn't play. But that was the
Yeah.
only
But
two like
five
dance.
5 years on now, Tok Tareha is also like not making the cut. It's like one of those filler songs. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
if I'm running out of shit, I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop Tok
Yeah,
Tareha.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy. A local artist that I actually ran into this past weekend that you guys work closely with as well is Simmer Music.
Mm-hmm.
Super dope girl,
Yeah.
very talented. She's local here from Toronto. You guys did a full project with her as well, her album, and then you guys just dropped a
Yeah.
single, I think, recently as well.
The album
Yeah.
isn't out.
The album is not out yet.
No.
Okay, okay.
It's in the works. Yeah.
Okay,
in the works.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
how did that vibe come together, and why does she work so well with you guys?
Simmer's like our sister, man. Like
Yeah.
she's been working with us for so long. Like
I think,
especially
by the way, I don't know if she's listening. Well, she probably will watch this, but I was
hope
waiting.
she is.
I was like, Simmer, you're the best, man. You got to come on the show. We're going to have you on. She was like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, you should- yeah,
Get
you
this
guys
drunk guy
gotta
away
get
from
her
me.
Yeah, man. Like
Whose man's is it?
she's super talented, man. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
We're just glad that she's doing what she's doing now.
Yeah.
Because she's always had that voice. We've, like he said, we've known her for a super long time, and like back in the MSN days also.
Oh, from way
we
back.
almost
way
we almost
back.
started creating music at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know she'd been singing for that long because I just
Yeah.
heard of her last like maybe 2-3 years or so.
I heard
just
it through.
No, I heard her
I heard
a
it through
while ago.
XD. I know you and Tej and Simmer had this one track, and I was like, yo. The first time I heard it, maybe like 5-6 years ago, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like this.
That
is-
was still too ahead of its time. Then
Yeah.
they're people are probably gonna hear
So-
it soon.
That track is gonna come out this year.
crazy.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And that we had to wait. We had to kind of shelve some of these tracks
Uh-huh.
because we didn't know what to do with them. There was like either we spend an arm and a leg and take a huge gamble, or we let the times kind of catch up to where we are ourselves, and then kind of take advantage of now having the type of music to
Yeah.
And does like
cater to the audience.
Do all parties understand that when you guys are working? Like, does she know that there's a waiting process? Because I can understand from you guys a production standpoint, you guys are working on so many different projects. Okay, this one will wait. Let's get on this one. This one's releasing now. But as a singer, and I see it all the time with like guys that are coming through, they're so anxious to get on. They want their music out there, but the process of waiting sucks. Like they have to wait. How do you guys work that out with the artists and kind of keep them in a good temperament to say, okay, your time will come, kind of thing?
I don't know, man. No, I'm joking. To be honest, it kind of just works itself out a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, with Simmer, like when she's there, it's on the spot vibe. Like when we made all those songs that happened on the day when we were in the studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we would like pull up a beat or even start a beat on the spot, and that's it. Like that session, whatever happens in the session,
Yeah.
we'll evaluate it after the session. Like,
She's
yo,
a
was this?
sick composer. Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Her
so
melodies
good,
are
right?
just
So
right off the bat, she just figures something out. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
man,
You were
that's
thinking
fucking
something
crazy.
and you're trying to like,
It's
you're
almost-
she
trying to
just-
get it.
You
Yeah.
hear it,
trying
you're
to
like,
tell it, yeah.
well, that is
Yeah.
way better than I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, our
100%.
work becomes so much easier with working with artists like that.
Yeah,
like with Simmer
And she's
H.
used to
Gill.
like we use FL Studio and and like we have this like different unorthodox way of recording people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she's so like easy to work with, you know, and I feel like her working with us in unorthodox ways, when she goes to other studios, like other engineers like, wow, you're so good, man. Like, you're so easy to work with.
Yeah.
It's because she went through our bullshit ways, you know what I mean? Like, of how we were recording back in the day.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I would say Simmer's like our guinea pig.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We experiment. We have so many experimental songs that are like, maybe like 2030 already, you know what I mean? Like year 2030 type of music. And it's just cool because she's always willing. She's always willing to push the band, you know, like she doesn't want to just compromise and be like what someone else is doing. How do I be different?
Yeah.
And she is different. You know what I mean?
Like music is not a full-time thing for her yet, right?
Not yet.
So she's still working towards that and all that. When is the album dropping?
It's still in the works.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Hopefully by like fall time.
Oh,
We want to get it right.
Yeah.
We never rush anything. We don't want to put a deadline per se until we have maybe a core.
Yeah.
You know, we have a couple of bangers,
That's
and
dope.
it's cool because like we work in this industry now where we make music, and a lot of people that like Bollywood is listening and they hear some of the songs and they go, hey, do we want to match this up with, you know, maybe some other artists, established artists?
Yeah.
And Simmer's the type of person who's now part of the industry where we understand that songwriting is a huge thing. It actually works in the mainstream industry. People make a living off songwriting, and this is like we're getting there now.
Yeah.
If you understand it and you set yourself up and organize yourself and work with the right people. So we work and we make records all the time that might not be on our album.
Yeah.
You know, we'll maybe like, hey, this artist is popping right now. We really like their vibe. Let's make a record in their avenue, in how they would do it, and have it on deck. Just in the case that we might meet them one day. And the way the world works sometimes is when you put it out there like that, you put your energy out there like that in a positive way, it reacts, and a lot of the time we end up meeting those people.
I absolutely agree,
That's-
man. Because when we came up with this idea, I was just brainstorming, and I started just writing up questions for people I wanted to interview, and some of those people have come through, and I
Yeah.
just look it up, and I'm like, oh, I'm already ready for this guy.
Look
kind of
back at
thing,
that
you know?
list and you see how many
crazy, man.
names you've crossed off.
Absolutely.
It gets pretty surreal.
Yeah.
But then it gives you the confidence to move forward too.
It's happened so many times for us like that. Like we always have these like brainstorming lists of artists that we want to work with this year. You know what I mean? Every year we do that. And till now it's been like we don't go like crazy. Okay, like we know where we are in the industry. You know what I mean? So we're slowly growing step by step and stuff. So the lists are based on artists like that, and we've hit all those artists till now. So it's pretty good.
Is it only Punjabi or both or like?
It was mostly Punjabi at the beginning, but we expanded our list now.
Yeah.
Just because like there's only like we want to continue growing, and we don't want to, you know, create a ceiling for ourselves, you know, and just
We don't want to be like they only do Punjabi music. We do
Yeah.
everything.
Well, when I first got to know you guys, Sean and Maninder, I remember like you guys were like straight into yo, we're gonna do festivals.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
gonna be doing like fucking waving the flag around.
That's still the goal, bro. That's still the goal.
And, like
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing crazy, like we're gonna be up there with like Diplo, Dead
Yeah.
Mouse. Like that was like Sean and Maninder when I met you guys. Like fuck, how many years
Still the
ago?
goal,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Still
Well,
working towards it.
Look at Convict, who came on the show about a year and a half ago, and he was saying the
Killing it.
exact same thing. He goes, why can't our music be on that type of level, festival level, and be doing that? And
Yeah.
you see him doing it, man.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's like,
doing it.
year after year, he's growing and expanding. and
Man,
he's
like
doing these big
between
stages.
us, like Convict, JJ, us, Upside Down, Hark,
Yep.
that's a festival lineup right there.
Huge,
You know,
yeah.
like
Shout
a
out to
really
Hark,
good,
he's
a
sick.
sick
Yeah.
kick. You know, like these are like really good.
How come we don't have
festival lineups.
a Indian like or Punjabi Coachella? You know what I mean?
coming.
We have
Yeah,
so many
We're
artists.
working on it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we need that stuff, man. Make
Yeah,
that
man.
happen.
We definitely do.
Speaking of an album, we talked about Simmer's album. I had this discussion with JJ the other day. I want to have your guys' input on it. How important is it these days to drop an album over singles?
We really feel like albums are back almost.
Yeah?
You know, they went
Yeah.
through this transition phase where you had to, you know, strategize singles, you know, to kind of make sense of the business. That's because how much money you had to spend on your single, you know, at that time, and you could only budget so much. And now, because producers and engineers are willing to work with the artists and build these bodies of work,
Yeah.
I feel like it only justifies the artist's effort to drop an album to truly explain who they are.
Yeah.
You could drop a single, but a lot of the time it's not who you really are.
And it falls through the cracks.
Yeah,
especially,
exactly.
Especially for upcoming artists, I feel like albums a great way to go about it. You know.
Yeah.
I said it. It's my idea. So Sidhu and Karan, when you guys are listening, I hope you give me the credit. But I think those two guys right now in the industry could pull a Nipsey Hussle. Can literally put a piece of work together and they could sell it for $100 and pre-sell. And they can, they could do something like
That'd be amazing.
Donate a portion of it to whatever that they wanted to.
For sure.
But you get that piece of artwork. You can hold a Sidhu album. You could hold a Karan album. Those two names. Just specifically, I think, are at that level where they have that type of following and can do it. But it would start a cool trend because it would trickle down. And, I see what Sidhu and Garden are doing now.
Bro.
Big stages, big production. They're lifting that level of music where everybody has to follow that trend instead of doing what the norm is, just go do weddings, go do whatever, go get paid.
Yeah,
they could
get comfortable. To be honest,
they could think about themselves and just get as much money as they can now and say we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's get it while we have it. But instead, they're really lifting the industry to another level, which is a great thing to see, man.
Man, shout outs to those guys, man. Like,
I've just been like really impressed with Sidhu, bro.
Oh, huge, man! Like
He's the
he's
greatest
been at
thing
us.
that's ever happened to Punjabi music.
There you go.
He is the worst thing that's ever happened to Punjabi weddings.
for real,
Bro,
Yeah,
if,
facts.
okay, so he was at our studio for the last couple of weeks.
The greatest
Yeah.
thing.
He's come
in
by
our
a few
industry,
times
The
and the
worst thing
new-
in our weddings.
The new music this guy's gonna be dropping, man, like it's unreal.
we got shook, man.
Yeah.
We're like, holy.
you guys got the
smokes.
preview on the music.
Yeah,
We're like,
The
holy
new stuff
smokes.
coming out is
Yeah,
fire.
we're like, this
Holy
is
smokes.
really good.
He
man.
seems focused, man, and he seems like he knows what he
Yeah.
wants to do.
That's very important, man.
very impressed, man. Super impressed.
He's a guy with a plan. He knows what's going on for him, and he knows how to execute.
He knows what's going on around him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he knows how to execute. And he at time after time, he has just been executing.
Yeah.
Fucking singers, fucking lyricists, everybody has been executed by the moves.
Not a lot of people show up to your studio for the first time by themselves.
Solo, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people always bring support.
Yeah.
Yo, man, that guy shows up and he lives up to every expectation I ever had of him, man.
Yeah.
Super humble.
He was just
guy,
there, but
man.
like, I'm here,
Super
buddy.
nice
Get the
guy.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, man.
you hear his music and you think that he's gonna be a certain way or real hardcore. One of the nicest guys you've
Yeah,
ever met.
man.
So humble, and it's refreshing to see that, and it makes you even like him even more because
Yeah.
you always see these big artists. Even Garden included. I have my nephew down, and I wanted to take him to that show because he's like a big fan. And I thought that they deep in their whole crew, it's hard to get close to them, whatever. So I asked Chet, and I was like, "Yo, can my nephew take a picture with Garden?" And Garden stopped, took a picture with him. It was super nice about it, and right away it changes your perception of that artist. You think way higher of them instead of he could have been an asshole. They had a limo, and there were 20 of them. They could have jumped in and took off. They didn't need to do it. But I think all artists need to take a lesson from people that are doing.
Let me
that.
tell you a flip side to that story, though. So we were in California one time, and AK is with us. And some guy comes up to AK and he goes, "Hey, man, can you video call my nephew? I'm going to video call him. Can you just talk to this person, right?" So AK talks to this person, says, "What's up, what's up?" and gives the phone back to the guy. And AK is like, "Yo," and he comes back and he's talking. The guy comes back and he goes, "Yo, you think you're cooler than me?" And he's like, you're gonna be cooler in front of my nephew than I am?" And he makes a deal out of it.
Wow.
So now he's in AK's face.
That guy's a loser.
Yeah,
straight
dude. So it was just like a surreal experience that were going on in the States. In the States, people have guns and stuff, so you gotta
you gotta
handle
be
yourself
careful.
kind of carefully. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those California
Bro, you're
experiences.
coming to me to call your cousin.
Yeah.
Nigga, I am already cooler than you.
Yeah.
And I said the N-word.
Yeah.
I said it.
Dude.
I said it.
That literally happened. That literally happened.
what a
we
weirdo.
couldn't explain, or to people what happened, or even understand what
And
happened.
AK's
Yeah.
a really nice guy as
And
well,
he's a
man.
cool
That
guy.
guy-
He's not even gonna admit that energy.
The
He's
other,
gonna,
the other guy was definitely
That
on
guy has
something.
only-
he was on something for
Only
sure.
positive vibes from AK. Like, he's
Yeah.
fucking beaming out positive
Yeah.
vibes.
That guy
Yeah,
ate
yeah.
too many pronte in the morning. He was feeling weird, man.
AK is so happy that he starts crying, bro.
Real shit. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yo,
That's AK for you.
Um,
He's like, I just love it so much.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fucking crying right now.
We've had a lot of Japis all the time.
Oh my god. That just
you guys talk a lot about vibes and feels, getting the right vibe. You guys have amateur artists that come in, beginners that are just starting out in music. Then you guys got the biggest of the biggest that come through. Do you have a different way that you deal with people? Was there just you just do your thing and hopefully they catch on, or what's the procedure when you're dealing with a new artist versus a big timer?
I think in all sessions, our main goal is always the same: is to create something special. You know what I mean? Whether it be a new artist or an old artist, the goal is a voice is a voice. You know what I mean? Ideas and ideas, but you all gotta just make the best product possible.
Yeah.
So We have artists, rap artists have been recording since they were like 12, 13 years old, and now they're like 20.
Shit.
You know what I mean? That's long.
That's
we've been-
crazy.
Yeah.
So we've seen progression in the game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
And
every
we
time,
saw people that we believed in, you know, like when we were in the game, I remember I used to bust it to studio sessions and for studio sessions to cancel when I got there. And it used to just be, I had to accept it because I had to earn it at that time. And nowadays, I remember how the taste I used to have in my mouth when I used to come home and just so disappointed because you're leaving the house going, you know, later, mom, dad, I'm going to go to the studio. I can't wait for this. Coming home. And they're like, how'd it go? And you don't really want to explain that it was crap because you don't want them to stop you from going next time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
next time might be the time.
Yeah.
So you got to like live this double life almost.
Mhm.
And it got to the point where that's why like we didn't really want to pursue the Indian or the industry at all. Like we just
Yeah.
want to do it for ourselves. But we created this culture where like if we have a studio and we're not there, there's a couple artists that, hey man, here, take the keys, go there,
Yeah.
have some fun, experiment, open up, live the life,
Yeah.
feel it, like actually live the life.
But again, like
You
what he
know?
said, like we want to make the music for ourselves. That comes in a lot. Like we're kind of selfish in that terms because we want the best product possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even if an artist is not good, like we have the tools to make it good. You know what I mean? Right now. So but like anything that has the XD name on it, we got to make sure that it's top.
Yeah,
of
we don't
mind.
compromise. We don't
Yeah.
rush anymore. We might have done it in the past because we didn't really have a say in it,
Yeah.
you know, or you had the confidence to say
Yeah.
anything at that time.
Uh-huh.
But nowadays, it's like, hey, if it doesn't sound good to us, then we're gonna get it right.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll wait till
And
it.
that's your
works.
name. That's your brand now too, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
protect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, man. I gotta bring up something. I know M probably is not gonna like me for it, but I gotta bring it up. I don't know if you guys are aware. Sean, you're my brother as well, but M has. We got to get this clear. All right, we got to get the air clear on this. M has been feeling a little bit of a ways because
even.
There. Okay, you want to talk about it, M? Or
We
can
did
I-
a song. My name wasn't on it. It's cool.
Yeah, you know, and we boo booed on that, and I've personally apologized.
My thing was like I was just told about it the wrong way. I heard from like a third party that like yo,
the
I'm you're
reason
not
I'm
on the
bringing it up,
song.
He's
because
completely right.
You're my brother, and he
Right.
is as
Yeah.
well. And I was like, "There's no way we're gonna do this episode and not clear the air."
Yeah.
So we got.
I mean, it's never been like a thing where
Or
like, we never.
explain
Like,
it
okay,
first.
Yeah, it was Man United the fan.
Okay, the man. Okay, yeah.
and
yeah.
M's like, and shout outs to M. Like anytime we've ever needed help,
Can
in
I interrupt?
anything like that.
M's a Liverpool fan. He's not a Man U fan.
Yeah.
I don't even watch soccer. I don't even watch soccer. I became a Man United fan that day.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time,
I mean, but it's the way the shit moves, yo.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I
at the
think it was
same-
just like it got lost and like I don't know what happened. It was just
Lost in
process.
time.
The process was so long with that song.
yeah. I think it was a lot of excitement and a lot of like just blindness by the excitement because. Like and we've talked about it as well. Like we would never do that intentionally, you know,
Yeah,
anything
no,
like that. You know,
it's-
It
it's-
was-
it's
it was
gravy,
never
it's
anything
For the
like that,
people
yeah.
listening, so what happened? You guys worked on a track together.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and just M didn't get
It
credit.
ends and then we ended up backtracking and putting on it. It was just like it was a boo boo on our end, to
Okay.
be honest. And what it was is
That's
Rush is I
gravy,
got
it's gravy.
married and and the song was supposed to be used for my marriage intro, right? Because like I'm a big Man United fan and I
Yeah.
wanted to do something unique. My wife wanted a Mankita Dollar track and I'm like, well, I haven't done a track with Mankita. Then it's my wedding also. Like, why am I gonna put one of my competitors? You
Yeah.
know, like I won't put my own track up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we rushed it, and then 2 weeks before my wedding, it got leaked somehow. The track, because someone else used it for their intro, and it was supposed to be for like my
For-
wedding, and
for
I was
their-
like,
they
hell-
used it for their wedding.
Yeah,
intro.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
used for a wedding intro. I was like,
intro.
how?
I think it was like
How did they get the song?
spinning it, and I called him, and I had to apologize to him after too because I was going through like my pre-wedding groomzilla phase where I was like calling, you know, just being crazy kind of, and I
Oh,
was like, hey
shit.
man, how'd you get this thing? You know, like why'd you leak it? And he's like, well, some guy showed up with his phone and sent it to me, and now I was like, oh shit.
Oh.
We gotta get this record out now.
Yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? And we decided to just rush it. We sent it out, and that time we went to LA. We were actually at Deep Doll's house.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah, that's when
recording
it
the
came out.
album, and
That's
we
right.
were totally like cold. Like we weren't talking to anyone. We forgot about it, and it released. And at that time, we just completely forgot about it. And again, man, publicly apologize to DJ.
Nah,
M,
no,
man.
never. I don't even need it. I'm just
No, no,
nah,
yeah.
man.
But DJ M's like one of our like boys. If I could use the N word, I would use it.
No, because I
Off
remember
the record.
he was at the studio like every day. You guys were working
Yeah,
together,
man,
and then it
like-
just stopped. And I was like, "What happened?" Then he kind of told me like, but he didn't even talk about it much. He was just like, whatever, you know, I'm just gonna do my
Yeah,
own thing.
yeah, yeah.
And but at this, and it goes back to what we were talking about off air of keeping everything in-house. Like in-house, by what I mean by that is, JJ's doing music over here in his studio, you guys do it over there. It doesn't mean that you guys can't work together, you guys can't collaborate on stuff, share stuff. There should be a competitive edge to everything.
Of course.
Granted,
Jaden did the master for one of our biggest songs.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
if not the biggest song.
You know what I mean? And the fact that you guys can work together in the industry and still grow. There's so much money in music for everybody that there's no reason that anybody needs to kind of.
And moving forward, I want to make it public. Like, there's gonna be more DJM and XT records.
Yeah,
out.
straight up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like, we
Yeah.
need
Man,
those
that
records
song was
out.
sick.
Good.
I mean, I don't know why I thought he talked about that. I told him, and then leave it off the fucking podcast, Daddy.
I had to throw some masala.
Yeah,
there.
no, I love it, man. Yeah.
Talking about what you guys are talking about, and he just played the background music for it. Everybody, all three of you guys were involved on it. Kylie and Karina, Diljit Dosanjh. How the fuck does that song come together, and how does that happen?
Again, fluke, man. I'm joking. It's easy.
Universe.
It's easy to say fluke, but
I gave in the last episode, I gave Herman a lot of credit, but I got to hear
Right.
it from you guys.
no, Herman does deserve a lot of credit. He facilitated a lot of the moves there, and him and another guy named Kevin. A lot of people don't know about Kevin, who's been a
Big part of the movement still.
big part of our movement and huge help. And they had this idea of working with Diljit from the get-go. And we decided to just kind of come up with some ideas in the studio one night that we could pitch to him. And Herman ended up connecting with Cali Quest from California, who gave us an email address to just kind of send some demos to. And we decided to send some demos to him. And it was like 2-3 months later that Cali sent us a message saying that just sent it, he just heard it, don't know how he's going to feel about it. So it was kind of like setting us up.
Yeah.
And then we got a voice note just from Diljit himself saying, "Boys, I love it."
That's crazy.
Off a random number or off that Cali Quest?
Off Cali Quest
a
is-
forward from Cali Quest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's
it's
just saying,
crazy.
"I love it. Please come to California. Like, let's work on it some more." And
crazy.
we just didn't think twice. All of us, like us two, Dage, Kevin, and Herman, packed our bags, went to Vegas for a couple of nights, and then we went to California. Yeah.
So that whole studio thing was in California?
So we went to.
Yeah.
So there's a video with us in
I thought it
Diljit
was
out.
in India for some
No,
reason.
That's
there was
in
two
India.
sessions.
Oh, okay,
There was
okay.
two
Okay.
sessions. One was in Sacramento, and the
Yeah.
other one was in India.
Oh, so you worked on the song in Sacramento?
Kylie and Karina was made it was made here, but
Yeah.
it was dubbed in Sacramento.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys flew out for the release in India?
Yeah.
Correct,
No,
yeah.
no. We got
Yeah, we worked on the release, and
Yeah.
then we tried to
There's something
we're-
else.
We're working on some more projects.
We'll
with
see.
them.
We're not gonna
okay,
talk about
okay,
it, but
okay.
like
That's dope.
when it
That's
comes out, it comes out. You know.
Yeah, don't worry. We're so delayed on this podcast by the time your album's out.
Not anymore.
Shout out to JJ. Yeah.
How was the experience working with? I saw you guys in the studio dancing and doing that whole
Yeah.
video. How was that experience meeting him finally and like kind of going through that?
He's
whole,
a cool guy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's mad humble,
Yeah.
bro. He's one of a kind.
At least, like, there's people that always come across that other people that have dealt with them that always kind of paint a picture. And we just took it with, like, okay, we're going to meet him for the first time. We had no expectations, to be honest, because it was just so last minute. Jet Airways had just shut down as a company.
No, the first session was in Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento, which was brief, though. We had
He was
one
quiet in that session. He was just
Yeah.
like just trying to take it in, and then he opened up more when he went to India. Is like mad friendly and shit.
That's when he
yeah.
was doing
Yeah,
the
we
dancing.
were in,
and
we were
all
in
that.
his city now. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And
That's
he was
dope.
mad host, but like he just showed us around, showed us the food and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he was just very honest about everything. If he didn't like something, he told us. If he liked it, he told us, and
Yeah.
it was very easy to work with. Because the more information we have, the easier it is to work with. What we're working with, and he just was very a straight shooter too.
Yeah,
know?
you guys say it lightly, but he is the Drake of the Punjabi industry.
He
so
is.
It doesn't get much bigger than him when you
Man
get
can
to
fart
music.
and release it on Spotify. It's gonna be number one.
Oh, he knows about the new track, D.
JJ, what was your experience working on that and mixing it?
All I know is Herman and Sean.
Yeah.
Was it? Who else?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
I was
Showed
like,
up.
I was
Stage-
super late. I was DJing
Yeah.
the party
Stage
that
Guild?
night.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
came
yeah,
in
yeah.
later.
Stage wrote that as well, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we
yeah.
showed up for the master one night.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like JJ was late.
It's like it's happening. It's not happening. It's
You
happening.
remember?
Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
happening. But it's happening now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I can't go.
But it was great. I didn't even know what to expect until I heard it, and I was like, holy shit, this is different.
Yeah, we still don't know what
which
to
is really
expect.
nice, man.
Yeah.
And then we tried to make it the best we could, right? Because there was
Oh,
a couple
man,
parts that were
thanks.
dubbed back, like in different places or whatever
Yeah,
it was, or
yeah.
different times.
Yeah.
So those parts, and then we tried to do some stuff. It was good, man.
He's so when we were first working with him in Sacramento, we threw on the auto tune, right? And we cranked it, so it was like, 0% retune. Was it 0% humanizer, 100% retune, and then everything, like all the amplitudes, everything cranked. So it's like T-Pain times 100.
You're going too fast. So
It's like T-Pain, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
okay.
it's like T-Pain,
100%.
100%.
So humanize is like the real voice. And then
Yeah.
you're
The more
doing
you crank the
auto-tune.
humanizer, the less
less auto tune.
Soft with auto-tune.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so we crank it up, and we're working with an engineer at this time. Normally, we like to engineer stuff ourselves, but we're in a studio now, and so we're working with an engineer. And
Plus, we wanted to drink and chill. And
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
you know, so we
yeah,
want to be
yeah.
engineering the session.
want to live
like,
the lifestyle almost,
Yeah.
right? And the engineers we're like, is the auto tune on? Because we hear like Diljit sounding perfect, like too perfect.
Yeah.
Where's the auto tune?
Yeah, the
And
key's
he's-
not even moving, right?
He's
just
like,
yo,
it's
not
on. It's like it's cranked up. So we found out that Diljit was singing too perfect.
He was so on.
He was just
key
singing too
that
perfect.
he wouldn't even move.
Just the
Damn.
auto tune
Yeah,
was
it was
not
just-
reacting to his voice because he was doing it too perfect.
Wow.
So we had to kind of like dumb down his approach. Like we become a little bit lazier or put more throat. And at one point
Half
we're
a
like
bag.
giving him instructions over the mic. And me and D look at each other. We're like, are we giving Diljit vocal instructions?
Diljit
What's
motherfucking
going on?
Dosanjh, bro.
who
Like,
are
what
we?
the fuck?
Yeah,
He's in the booth right
That's
now.
awesome.
Yeah.
it's pretty unreal,
Bro,
yeah.
just
But he was
like-
such a good sport. Like he took it all, and he used it as constructive, and that's the reason the track turned out the way
It
it
was
did.
a vibe because I've never seen him post that type of vibe on any song.
Nah.
He'll promote his songs,
so-
he'll put a poster up.
so
But to
out of
be-
his element,
Yeah,
you know?
to be like hanging out like you guys are friends and like having
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah,
that
also-
was super dope to see.
The video for that was
But you know
shot by
what?
somebody like huge.
Oh,
Like,
sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
man, yeah.
like a big time, like Gora. I don't even know his name, but like I remember JJ was
David
little.
Zenny.
David Zenny.
David Zenny.
Yeah, he's huge. He's
Yeah,
friggin'
yeah.
Imran Khan.
Yeah.
Imran
Imran
Khan,
Khan.
Honey Singh, and all
French
those
one
guys.
right now.
Like,
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's doing big shit.
Crazy.
Well, can we listen to that song? Let's listen to it and we'll get back into it.
Sure.
Let's listen to Kylie and Karina by Diljit. All right, and we're back from Kylie and Karina. That was produced by XDPro. You had so many people involved with it. Jay Static, Herman Atwall, Kevin,
Money Music.
Hollow Manu.
Yep.
Was
Music.
Money Music involved with that as
Yep.
well?
Yeah.
Big part.
Super, super dope, man. Big team. Diljit, of course. Stage Gill as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was involved, man. That's what I think I loved about that track so much was how you guys brought so many different people from the city of Toronto together and to make an international hit. Super dope, man. That
Yeah.
you guys did that.
Thanks, bro.
Congrats on that. If you haven't heard that song, replay it again. We're gonna play a game real soon. Before we get into the game, I gotta big up those two names that we just said, Hollow Manu and Money Music. Totally cool vibe that they got. They got that Nav vibe. They
Yeah.
work with you guys very closely. Manu just dropped the album Demons.
Yeah, yeah,
You guys work closely with him on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Everybody was involved with it.
Yeah,
We worked on the production and the mix and everything.
Yeah, we engineered a lot of it as well, and it was just a body of work that we just over time that we just had vibes with. He has a lot of good tracks, Manu, and he's actually like a really good music producer as well.
How old is he?
He's 22 now. I feel.
Crazy.
Young,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
okay.
super
Yeah.
young.
That's
Yeah.
dope, man. We talked about these young guys coming up. Ikwinder, we had him on the show too.
J
Super,
Track,
Yeah,
super
shout
dope.
out to Quinn,
Sean
man.
Billa, SB coming up. There's a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of
There's
lot,
a lot
of
of
young,
young ones.
guys coming up, man.
That's dope
Hey.
to see, man. That's dope to see. Another track that you guys just dropped with Amar Sandhu and Fateh. It was called Replaceable.
Yeah,
That was your guys' own track. You guys.
it was a remix.
That's a remix we did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
that
it
was the one of the few tracks that got us on the radar on some labels.
really.
Yeah, because
I think the remix did better than the original.
Damn.
Yeah. It's funny. We heard from one label that so we were big on like SEO. So when we started a studio at when we first started it, we started this like social media company as well. And our whole thing was like improving your social media activity and stuff like that at that time. It was like Gary Vee was like emerging and wrote his
Yeah.
first book, Jab Jab Right Hook. And so we were all about content and stuff like that. So that was one of the few projects that we did like with an experiment. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it kind of like worked out for us. So
Yeah.
That's
dope.
awesome.
What can we expect from you guys in the near future? Coming up soon, probably by this podcast, the time it comes out. What are we looking at for the rest of 2019, 2020?
Stages projects, I would say.
It's coming out. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Simmers
some
projects.
Simmers
Nice.
And then there's a whole slew of projects that it's hard to say if they're coming out or not.
Yeah.
If anyone that works in this street
We don't
want
wanna
to
jinx
relate
it.
to this. Yeah.
We
just
delayed,
don't know.
We delayed you guys. You guys are saying there's guys in the studio right now waiting for you as well. We apologize. We
It's
got
all
a
good.
little
It's all
bit
good.
cake.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all love. They'll understand when they're listening to this.
That's dope, man.
In
so
8 months.
So look out for Thays, look out for Simmer.
Seriously.
Always continuously look out
Yeah.
for XD. Make sure you support. Make sure you listen to the music.
Thank
and,
you.
and follow, subscribe, the whole thing. We're gonna get into something that M looks like he's already fucking ready for. He's
I'm
got the
always
belt
ready.
wrapped
Scared.
around his mic there. He is the reigning champ. We gotta give it to him. 3 seasons in, he's got the most wins. Definitely, fucking cheats. I don't know how he does it, but
It's his computer, right?
Yeah.
Yo, you can use any computer you want.
And we were getting some text that Jyoti Dillon wasn't on the screen, so we got him on as well. Welcome. Jyoti was behind the scenes doing some heavy work. Amrit Gill just showed up as well, who's
sir.
a maestro behind the scenes.
Actually, no one will know he left. He just dipped and
Yeah,
came back.
exactly.
He's been here.
Yeah, him, Dolo, and Deshant have been running around, battery change,
straight.
this, that. You don't see what's going on behind the scenes, but it's crazy, man. So thank you to you. Let's make a round of applause for everybody, man. Involved
yeah,
with this.
straight up,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. You guys doing a great job today.
I gotta
Come
say,
a-
I'm
come a long way.
So
We're-
impressed.
Yeah,
by
we're
you
very
guys'
impressed,
setup.
man.
Absolutely.
The amount of cameras and the wires. Like, yeah. People don't realize like how much it goes behind the scenes before
Yeah,
making
man.
this happen,
I
right?
mean,
so shout out to you guys.
It takes like a few hours to set up each episode.
Well,
oh,
Yeah.
we know.
We need sponsors. We're running out of money, man. So
Real shit. Email Thotty.
Crown and Grey Goose haven't called yet. So.
Hey, speaking of Crown, we got the Crown and Coke for you guys. Shout out to Dave, that
Hey,
song as well.
respects,
So
respects.
we had to represent. All right, so let's get into it, Jyoti Dillon. I know you got some tracks ready for us. We're gonna get started. If you watched the show, you know what the game is. If you haven't, go back and watch the last 20 fucking episodes because we've already explained it.
Yep.
Jyoti, what do you got to say for these people?
I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh man, don't look at me. I suck.
I put my money on DMS. I know he's got
What?
the.
He has an
he's the
ear.
DJ,
He has
he's
an
got
ear.
the ear.
Yeah.
I got my money on KSR.
Yeah, Sean's a stoner like me. So
And JJ. These 3 cats right here.
I got.
Yo,
I'm gonna say I got my.
I got more money on.
a fun,
got my
money
money on
on
M
me.
too.
fun story. The,
The
first
pressure is on.
first time I was DJing was at McMaster, and this was the man that let me get on the decks, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Shout out
Shit.
JJ, bro.
That's big. That's big.
First
See,
time I met JJ, we were on a Bhangra team somehow together.
Oh,
we were practicing
yeah,
at like
yeah,
Wildwood
yeah,
Park
yeah,
in the
yeah,
parking
yeah,
lot or
yeah.
something.
Holy
Holy
shit.
Yeah.
shit.
And I was super offended because the person who invited me on the Bhangra team didn't ask me to make the Bhangra mix. And I'm supposed to be the music guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Who the fuck
who's
is the
this guy
music
making the music mix? And when I heard the mix, I was like, whoa, whoops. You know, like I kind of talked
it's
too
pretty
soon
good.
here. Yeah, it's pretty good. So
No, that's dope.
JJ's the real OG here.
Yeah.
Us daddy.
That's not.
OG.
All right, let's get into it, Jyoti Dillon. We're gonna start with track number 1. We listened to a snippet of it. You got to name the track name first, and if you tie, then you name the artist, and we do 5 tracks. Best out of 5 wins. Track number 1, Jyoti, you got that loaded up?
I just ended with phase 2.
Yep.
All right, guys, ready?
Let's go.
3, 2.
Oh, hold on. No, don't.
grinding by.
I need like another little.
It sounded like.
Hold on,
uh,
hold on, hold on, hold on,
Can you
hold
put
on,
that-
hold on.
DMS is going through his.
Database right there.
Is this Punjabi or
Ni
English?
Aja Pabi? Is it Aja Pabi?
Do I need to cue it back?
Just hit 1 or
Just
whatever.
just hold 1 for like 2 seconds and then let go. Or you can play it longer if you want.
You ready?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
No.
That's a hard
Oh
one.
man. So it,
Let's play a few more seconds
Yeah,
of it.
have to.
Let's go.
Oh!
Fucking.
Nelly, country.
Hot in
Country.
here.
You got
my
that.
God.
Everybody knew it, but it was a hard one to play
man.
up.
Yo.
All right, KSR.
Is
got
it
the
is it
first
country
one.
grammar or is it EI?
EI.
Yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
EI,
Oh,
guys.
it's EI, yeah.
You all suck. I said EI first.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
said
is it?
EI first.
Oh, it's country. No, he said country grammar.
Oh, is it?
grammar?
Yeah.
Down,
okay,
down,
okay.
baby.
I thought it was EI too.
No, the
No,
track name is good.
Whatever I got it. Shut the fuck up, everybody.
All right. KSR got that one.
Wow,
He
what a
stole that
twist.
one. All right,
Yeah.
track number 2, Jyoti. Let's go.
No,
difference.
Difference. Oh, fuck.
I'm with 1. I don't know who said it first.
Yeah, he got the artist.
One of these two.
He got the
Wow.
artist. Yeah. JJ got that one.
The fuck?
Don't get my belt
This
taken
was
away.
the first one in like
KSR.
7 years.
I just felt this heat wave coming from.
Yo, now we're gonna have instant replay too, man.
Yeah, put the belt here too
Holy.
early.
All right, KSR 1,
Wow,
J Static 1. Let's go track number 3.
All right, ready, boys? 3, 2.
Oh.
Many
J.
men.
Cole,
Many men.
Middle
50 Cent.
Child. Middle Child. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
What
dun.
was
Middle Child.
Shit, JJ might win for the first time ever.
Yeah. JJ's got 2. He needs 1 more to win.
Yeah.
Yo, you 3 are slacking
Yo,
over
don't
here.
look at me, man.
Yo, I play Punjabi Shazam, alright?
Oh, yeah.
You're not a DJ?
I'm just
I
really.
thought you were a DJ though.
I play. Yo,
I thought you were a DJ
I'm
though.
a Pangra. I am a Pangra DJ.
Should we-
I DJ Jot parties.
I'm really impressed with JJ right now. That's all I can
Should we
say.
put the belt back in the middle of the
Yeah,
table?
yeah, yeah. Yo, come on. Put that back in the middle.
Nah.
No, no.
All right,
That's my fucking belt.
JJ's got 2. KSR's got 1. Track number
Holy.
4. Let's go.
Ready? 3, 2.
I can't even hear
A
it.
Jasmine
Jasmine
by
by-
XDPro Music.
Come on, yo, I said that.
You got it. You got it. All right. We got a
couldn't hear that
game.
one.
We got a
Yeah,
game. So we got Sean XD 1,
1, 1, 2.
Gummo 1, and J Static 2.
All right.
This
All
one.
right, so when he can't win, we can.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't win. You can only tie.
Get the hell out of here.
So
That means everybody already won.
all right, Jyoti Dylan, let's go. 5th track.
Ready?
Nachna Andani.
Oh wow.
I know.
Yo, he should win just because of that.
What?
win though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, I got a point.
Damn.
This is my first time winning. I'm fucking down.
Yeah, all right.
Congrats.
How do you even do that?
I should have had difference though, yo. We're gonna watch a repeat.
Yeah. This one we could actually do
Jeez.
another time. We'll do a rematch.
so
because
happy
it was-
with it.
it was-
It's crazy. Yes, JJ. Yes, JJ.
First time you ever won.
Yeah.
Twist. Might have to hand it.
All right, XD Pro.
I don't give a shit.
Bro, I'm so
Yo.
impressed by that game.
That
Like,
game,
these guys, just like, wow.
That one took me by storm a little bit too, man. JJ won it. We're not gonna steal a belt from him. You got that one. all
0
right.
points, Gultar. Here we
Yeah.
go. Come on, baby.
Yo, we gotta look at everyone's waveform and then who talked first.
Yes.
To figure it out.
You guys do the side by side comparison.
We'll do
Like
it.
goal line technology almost, you know?
All right, boys. We got to thank you guys once again for coming out,
sure.
taking the time to come sit down with us, tell your story to stardom. You guys are still working, still making music, still doing great things. We wish you all the best in the industry. Keep making all the music that you guys are making. And we're looking forward to hearing everything that you guys do. This is your first time on, but definitely not your last. We got to have you guys back on for whenever you drop an album. Whenever you want to leak a song, let me know. You know, we'll
sure.
put it on the show.
That
But,
is a plug.
Yeah, anything you guys got to say to the audience?
You know what it is? It's XDPro Music. You listen to Frequency and Friends podcast.
Yeah, big happy life, man. Let's go.
That's it.
Awesome.